Welcome to Tabletop Topics. I'm your host, Jeff.
And of course, Jeff.
Um, Jeff, we have a
Uh,
new guest.
A
today.
new special guest.
today.
Even new to me, because I didn't bring him. You did. So,
Oh man,
would you like to introduce?
would you like to introduce yourself, fine sir?
Hello, my name is David. I met Jeff and he invited me to the podcast, and I'm really excited and
that's
happy to
awesome.
be here to talk about a bunch of different things.
Yeah,
so
fire,
thank you
that's
again,
fire.
Jeff.
Yeah, definitely.
Much appreciated. Thank you for
Yeah,
coming
no,
out
yeah,
here,
for
dude.
real.
Absolutely, because I know it's a distance coming all the way out
Of
here.
course, because I know a lot of people that we invite live in Cape Coral, so
Mhm.
it's like
Interesting.
it's like a drive.
Just
Bruh,
a little bit.
it is.
Yeah.
Trip through Narnia.
He's like, let me take the back road so I
That's
can
what
get back.
No, I don't think. I think he took Colonial.
You did?
Yeah,
That's a
I gave him a
Colonial,
heads
yeah.
up. Like,
Damn,
if
okay.
he ever
Sorry
wants
about
to get a shortcut, take 80. It's
Damn.
right up the road.
Oh, that's crazy.
You'll get here quicker than you think. But appreciate you coming out here, especially dealing with the heat.
Yep.
Dude,
Bro, it's
brutal.
crazy, man. It's brutal
different
today.
out there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's brutal out here.
How was
I
your
don't
July 4th?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was
Do
good.
anything crazy, or you just kept it simple?
Kept it simple. We just had drinks, fireworks. Well, we didn't have fireworks, but the neighbor was gracious
Free.
enough to
know. Solid.
have some nice fireworks.
Yeah,
That's
that's how you could. That's how
solid.
you do it.
So-
You do it the freeway. Yeah,
Pulled
enjoy a
out some
couple of drinks.
chairs
Yeah,
and
of
just
course.
Had some drinks, enjoyed the show.
Crack some beers. That's
Yeah.
fire. That's fire.
What about you guys?
I worked.
Bruh.
Yeah, I closed.
Bruh.
I mean, there was fireworks across the street, but
Mhm.
other than that, I mean, nothing too crazy for me. I know that you went.
I chilled with my boy Caleb, and we really didn't do anything because he had to work today.
Mm.
And so we just kind of chilled at his place. Some of the boys came over. We played Mario Strikers.
Oh, that game is.
Oh, dude,
It's-
it's so
it
good.
is, it is,
It's
yeah.
so
So
good,
good.
man.
Yeah.
I love the meta. I love the meta of
Yeah,
the game.
because I know sometimes on Fridays we'll go to Skylar's and then we'll bring our Wii controllers and then just do a group.
Throw the sticks
Yep,
on.
yeah,
Oh,
throw the
heck
sticks
You
on.
yeah.
can play
Yeah.
with like 8 people on that game.
I believe so. Yeah, it's
Different.
awesome.
It's
awesome.
different.
It's a
I
really
don't.
fun
Have
game.
you taken a crack at it yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude.
Yes.
Do you have it or like,
yes.
bro?
Oh,
Okay, who's your main? Who's your main?
Luigi.
I feel it.
War Luigi because he's quick.
Me,
He's
it's
got that technique.
Yes.
That technique, dude. It means something in the game.
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
it was stupid at first, but that's like the ball handling.
You
That'd
know
be
who-
awesome.
You know who I think could end up a really broken character?
Who?
Bowser.
On it, I can see that.
Yeah, he's slow,
Bro's
but
a
he.
tank.
Yeah, he
If
is.
You,
you
can't
can-
tackle him.
You can't tackle him at all, and his shooting ability is
It's
just
ridiculous.
like wow.
which is
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? So like me,
For his
my,
size,
my,
yeah.
my whole thing is I want to max out like maybe if I can max out his speed without sacrificing his shooting,
Mm.
he'll still have his strength. Maybe I could have like a balanced Bowser that can like run up the field pretty quick.
Dude,
you
that would
know?
just be insane.
I know, right?
One person
just
I-
mowing everybody down, not
Oh,
even
You
let
know
them
what-
get through.
You know what's kind of insane though? There's only 10 characters.
Yeah,
I think
that's
I
true.
think they're probably gonna do.
$60 games.
Yeah, they're probably
characters.
gonna make more downloadable characters
that's
later.
how it is.
Yeah, I think that's why they made it
it's all
$60.
It's all software as a service, man.
Yeah.
Well, what do you guys think about that though? Coming like, cause how long have you guys been playing video games for?
Since
Would you
birth, since NES,
Since NES in the village,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
since
so
NES.
You guys are used to games coming out being finished. right?
Yes.
Right.
So how do you guys feel about it? Like the
Um,
way that games are the.
Well, it's like
business side
Fortnite.
of it.
It's like Fortnite when you have to buy skins in order to.
Well, but Fortnite is different.
yeah.
The only reason why I say that is because the skins don't affect the gameplay necessarily.
Mhm.
It's all really cosmetic. So it's just and the way they get you, it's like same thing with like gotcha games. They add this casino
Mm.
aspect to it,
Mhm.
where it's like there's more of a thrill in seeing what you can get. Like buy this season package,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Just like
see-
if you play Call of Duty.
right, and see what you can get out of by reaching this certain level, or you can pay to get these skins
Mhm.
or mystery random item drops.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
growing up, most games being completed, you really didn't have to worry about, oh, okay, this game feels empty. I wonder when they're gonna drop the next skin. The main thing on your mind was, when is the next game coming out?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And the incentive was, well, the incentive everywhere now is profit. You see what I'm saying? How do we maximize profit with the least amount of effort? Which is why a lot of these games that come out, I always feel like they're always in beta.
Yeah.
Because they're never completed. You never really get a sense of, where does this game end? Like, how do I feel this feeling of achievement that I beat this game?
Yeah.
Because it's a never-ending game.
Yeah.
So I really don't partake in those. Like me, if it's a cool game like COD, I'll just buy bare bones.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then
For the story mode, but
not even story, because the
Online?
story, bro. Most games, bro, throw the story in the trash because they don't really.
Jeff, I know you hate when I ask you this, but is the mic on?
Jeff, the mic is on. I'm telling you, you're gonna give me PTSD. With
I
this
think you
shit.
already got it.
I'll be 80 years old. Is the mic on?
Is the mic on?
Waking up 3 a.m., bro.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. It's just something's different. It just feels a lot more malicious. Like I just feel
Like sleazy.
yeah.
Yeah, because they're gonna add more characters like Link or Kirby and all that other stuff like that, but it's gonna be downloadable probably this fall or whenever they do it.
Right.
But
And regardless of how many of us protest, like the OG true
Gamers.
hardcore gamers, most of it is targeted to kids with parents with credit cards.
So they're not even. They don't really even care about.
They
you
don't
guys.
even
No.
care. They don't
You guys
understand
are
what
back for-
substance in a good game is. You know what I'm saying? It's look at all these cool colors. Look at this funny skin that I have. Look at this cultural reference that we'll just slap into the game, and I gotta have that, and that's gonna get the kids to run to their parents and buy them a battle pass or some shit like that.
for like 20
Do you
and 30
think that
bucks.
that is sustainable though, as a business plan for making games, or do you think people at some point are gonna realize that?
I mean, how many years has it been so far though? Since they've been doing that.
It's been a while.
A little bit.
Almost a
2013,
decade.
right?
Yeah.
I believe so.
That's
Yeah,
right.
10, 15 years. Yeah,
Almost
so,
a decade.
I mean,
And it just goes back to the whole software as a service, where no one's really dedicated and sitting down and developing. Because when you sold a game on a CD, it had to be a completed game.
True, because you couldn't-
Exactly, yeah,
you couldn't
yeah,
make changes.
You
to it.
couldn't make changes to it. All that is written on the game.
Mm.
And if you had a DLC, most of it was that's when we started moving towards how what was it, Xbox allowed you to download the game on your system
Yeah.
and then just play the game from the system online,
Yeah.
and then you can download DLC,
download the DLC without having
download
to
the DLC
repurchase it or anything.
or something like that, and that just kind of opened the door. The way they do stuff like that is they'll throw little crumbs in. Okay, now you can download the game onto your hard drive, or we offer the software online. All you need to do is stick the game in, but your game is streaming the game from online. You see what I'm saying? You're not necessarily running it on the disc. And I kind of made that connection when we had World at War.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the first Call of Duties
Oh, I
I ever
love that
played.
game.
Amazing game.
Make it
And back in the day, we used to have our Xbox standing up on its side, and usually that was a bad idea. So we had this Xbox standing up on the side, and we put the game in. And I remember one day, me and my brother were on the third mission or something like that, and we tipped over the Xbox, and it's
all you hear do is
just
Yep.
scraped a ring on the
Yep.
game, and we could never finish the rest of the game.
Oh,
So
that's
we
tough.
played the first 6 missions forever, bro.
Yep.
Forever, because it couldn't read past that point, and
But it still let you play the first 6 missions.
yeah,
Yeah,
it still
yeah.
let us
It's
play
not
the
that-
first.
Well, now if you have a scratch disc, you can play the entire game
Right,
because it's online.
and
yeah.
the CD drive doesn't even spin. It's just
So there's
we're
no
just
point in.
exactly.
Oh.
It was just to
Yeah.
verify that you had the license for the game in the physical copy, and then you could just download the game online and yeah.
Dude, so this kind of actually goes into one of our talking points.
Mhm.
Okay.
But so I remember I saw, so this is the World Economic Forum. I
Word.
remember seeing I can't remember the guy that's
Turn on the screen share.
the founder of it. His name is could you look that up for me, Joe?
Absolutely, brother.
Or he's like one of the founders.
Klaus Schwab.
Yeah, like Lex Luthor looking guy.
That's what's up.
Yo,
damn.
Tell
why
me
do they
who's-
always gotta be some villain-looking
Yep.
motherfuckers? Oh my goodness, Dude, he looks evil, man.
Dude, right?
He looks
Oh, yeah.
evil. Well,
So
mhm.
this guy comes out and he goes, by 2030, you will own nothing,
And
you
And
will
you'll be happy. Yeah.
So at first I hear that and I'm like, okay, this guy's just like crazy. You know, like he's not gonna.
It sounds like some
to do
culty
that.
shit.
Oh
right?
yeah, definitely.
But then I think about it and I'm like, you know what? Everything's a streaming service now.
Yep.
Sir.
Mhm.
Everything. And like I didn't really notice how much everything was a streaming service until I started up my business Soaring Skies,
Oh.
because like every single thing, like I'll give you an example, like one thing, so a small thing like barcodes. I have to pay a monthly subscription to have barcodes. Now that's just a little small like asset to
Mhm.
like what I'm talking
Right,
about. but,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
back in the day when it came to your business, you would just buy the equipment, buy the materials, whatever you needed, and you'd be able to
Self-sustained, right?
Yeah.
self-sustain.
Mhm.
Now it's you have to, or I'll give you an example. With my drone company, we use a software called Drone Deploy. So Drone Deploy allows you to take orthomosaic maps and 3D models,
Okay.
whether outside or inside.
Ooh, that's fire.
So, but the software costs like $500 a month.
Wow.
And they never let you make a one-time payment.
Wow.
You'll always have to pay that.
That's
Monthly
nutty.
to ensure that you're going to continue to stay
Mhm.
with them.
That's
how they lock you in,
And that's
right?
how they
Yeah.
lock you in. But that's like with everything now, like
Everything's a
literally
service.
And then also when it comes to housing as well too, like everybody's renting because you can't afford a house.
Can't.
Yeah,
House.
yeah, yeah.
And all these
So-
corporate landlords are just buying them all up. So prices go up. Who can only afford them? Billionaire real estate companies. They'll buy them out, and then they'll rent them, keep making money. Who's losing?
Us.
Us.
Yeah.
So, question: are they just able to just continue doing that like forever? Is there any way that, like, we as a community can do anything about that, or is it just
I feel like
because that would be really bad if they owned literally all housing
all
All
houses
housing,
and we
yeah.
had to all rent
That would be.
because we couldn't do anything
renting
at that point.
for life.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
So would you say we would have to go into a recession in order for
It would. There'd have to be a housing market reset.
like a crash?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
And
2008.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kinda like that.
Essentially, because
Kinda
when
lower
the
the
when the housing
entry.
market crash happened in 2008, even though I didn't own a home back in the day, literally everybody was scooping up homes. So $150,000 homes were now $80,000. So people were getting them, or land that was essentially what $2,000-$3,000 were now $800 to $1,000. So that's how come most of the homes that you see today have fences around their entire property, and it's like maybe 2 or 3 things of land, or how. I gave him a perfect example the other day. I said when a stock is $100, nobody can afford it, right? But when it does a 5-to-1 split, everybody can afford it. Just like the company I work for, our stock split 5-to-1 because it was sitting at 68. Yeah, the rich people can buy it, but the small fries couldn't. So when it split 5-to-1, it went down to $14. Now everybody's buying the stock, which brings it right back up. Same thing with the housing market. When the housing market, when we get, now it's finally.
well, we're in the beginning.
We're in the beginning stage. Yeah. Because like I said, home was $370, now it's $347. So if it gets to that point where you guys can go in and get it, then it'll start going back up. But again, like he said, if
It's just transfer of generational
exactly
wealth.
that's all it is.
It's just making the transfer of generational wealth easier, because if you think about it, the market crash in 2008, yeah, people were buying property, but the ones that were losing their houses, the banks were buying up those properties and reselling them or holding on to them and renting them out. So they never really let go of that and handed it back to the consumer, where it's like
So they just came in and swooped it all up.
scooped
Basically,
it all up,
yeah.
because they knew they could make up the money that they lost.
Yeah.
So another thing too is so I've been doing research on BlackRock, and one of the things I came across since we're talking about the 2008 crash, I can't remember exactly what happened, but it was something of there was like basically I read that BlackRock was essentially the main company that came in and basically bailed out the U.S. government and the big banks during
Yes.
the crash.
Yeah.
And by doing that, like, they kind of were able to control everything because everybody was in debt to them.
Mhm.
And they came in and they basically took over Wall Street in the matter of, like, a week or a month,
Yeah,
right?
it was pretty. Yeah.
So
Damn, that's crazy.
But like, what's crazy about that is I remember like when I was younger, I used to hear about monopolies and they're supposed to be illegal and they can't exist. But then I look at something like BlackRock, like I saw another thing where they don't own, but they oversee 10% of all stock trades, like globally, through their computer Aladdin. Have you guys ever heard about Aladdin before?
I have
No,
not.
never
Yeah.
heard. Yeah.
Let's
So
check that out.
Aladdin is supposed to be like the most advanced piece of financial technology for trading. So essentially what it's supposed to be is a network of 500 computers that track every single trade, and basically it's supposed to be able to predict what every trade is going to like turn out to be.
Okay,
Oh,
like
wow.
forecasting. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
So apparently every company wants to use this computer because this computer extremely like boosts their financial revenue. But again, like
Like you said, how much does it cost?
how much does it cost to use the Aladdin machine?
Yeah.
I personally don't know that.
Essentially, so it's
I don't.
Like
I don't even think they'll list. I think it's one of those if you have to ask the price, you can't afford it type of thing.
basically, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
These are where
But
like
then
Yeah, you
Top
definitely. Somebody like me
trading
can't
firms.
go in and use this
No,
thing.
not at all.
Like-
Not at
yeah,
all.
we're peon compared to the big business companies.
Oh, okay. So with a single standardized data set, Aladdin brings clarity, efficiency, scalability, and cost saving to the entire investment life cycle. Aladdin's native risk analysis makes Aladdin a truly end-to-end platform. Aladdin drives collective intelligence by providing tools to help your organization communicate effectively, address problems quickly, and make informed decisions at every step of the investment process. Aladdin and Aladdin Wealth are relied on by approximately 55,000 investment professionals around the world. Powered by more than 1,500 developers focused on continuous enhancements that are made available to clients. Directed as a hosted service, including Aladdin technical infrastructure, system administration, interfacing with data providers, and industry utilities. BlackRock operates a data and analytics factory with 600 plus professionals focused on creating and quality controlling data and analyses for clients. For its business,
So in simplistic terms, it makes companies richer.
centralized
Yeah,
source
right,
of data.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you could say all these fancy words, but in
Right.
simplistic terms,
Well,
it
it's
just
like
it
I
just
said, it's
makes
just a
us-
word salad,
Yeah.
and if you get it, you get it. If you don't,
I'll throw the information in the computer and you'll
you're
give me
out
a
of the
result.
loop.
Yeah.
And that's kind of honestly. So if this thing actually does like what it says it does, and I mean they have what was it, 55,000
yeah,
clients?
Yeah, 55,000 clients,
So
yeah.
clearly this thing is doing something.
That's actually working,
You
significant.
yeah.
got that many people on board with
I
it.
could have sworn I heard that, because I know its headquarters are.
Well,
in
look
New
at their
York.
stock prices too. It's at $620 per share.
Right, but I heard that most of BlackRock's investments were like overseas. Investors were like, and hedge funds were overseas investors, like United Arab Emirates, most of, especially like recent example when Elon Musk put the bid to buy
Twitter.
Twitter. Okay.
Yeah.
put the bid to buy Twitter. You had some Saudi princes who were private investors in BlackRock that own 40% of Twitter. I own 40% of the shares of
These
Twitter.
are Saudi Arabians.
Mm-hmm.
Princes.
Princes, you know they balling, bro.
They got
They got that money,
They're,
man.
They go to
That's
Dubai
a
on the weekends like it's like
And
it's
you
a-
know
some
the-
secrets, bro.
They got some,
of course.
you know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
definitely.
Here, knock on the door.
Vatican
Yeah.
vibes, bro.
Sir, I heard you were talking about us.
And they tried to outbid him. They tried to outbid his share size to keep him from altering the platform, because Twitter's like the main source of controlling information. You see what I'm saying? And-
yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
I can
I
definitely
mean, even
see
the
that,
the previous president Trump, he would always use Twitter to relay his information because
Relay
that's
his
the
information.
where people would
That
mostly
was their
pay
hub.
attention to. Yeah, that was the
That
hub.
was their
What
help.
do you guys think about, since we're talking about Twitter? Sorry for jumping up on Twitter.
No,
Oh, no, you're
worries,
good,
bro.
man.
Absolutely.
What do you guys think about Twitter banning people from their site? Like whether it's Donald Trump per se or Jordan Peterson just recently got banned.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Dave Rubin just got banned too
Just got
recently.
banned too.
Like, what do you guys personally think about that happening? People who say something that Twitter doesn't agree with, and then they get banned. What's your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, for me, if they spout hate speech, they're gonna run their analytics on that, and then they're probably gonna try to find something that offends somebody, because like we were giving an example on the episode that we did the other day. There's just so many boxes that has to be checked, unfortunately. And if somebody's offended, you're gonna offend somebody with whatever you say.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what you say or do, which is why, like I said, we created this platform just to listen to what you guys have to say, and then challenge you on it, or just listen, or just for you to voice your opinion.
Form an understanding.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to better understand you as a human being, and why you think the way you do. But compared to Twitter or Facebook or any of those platforms, the biggest issue with those is there's always somebody out there that's offended by something. So even if Jordan Peterson is speaking the truth, or somebody that discusses Trump is speaking some facts, or just giving their opinions on certain things, there's always going to be somebody out there that's going to be offended. And I think that's what it is, because a lot of people that are on Twitter,
It's like the voice of the crowds effect.
basically, yes.
It gives.
It's like
yeah.
whoever we can bring in to focus on Twitter or Instagram or all that other stuff like that, or TikTok, that's who we're going to pay attention to, because they're the one that's bringing us the
Right.
money.
And because it
So-
amplifies, it gives
Voice.
Yeah, voice to those who feel that their opinions are important. Not everyone's opinion is important.
Well, that's
and that's where people tend to forget, like, sometimes your opinion isn't important.
Yeah.
And that leads to where you get things like cancel culture.
Yep.
It's essentially like it's a loud minority.
Yeah.
It's a loud like if you take the total population of the country versus what's on Twitter, it's minuscule.
yeah.
Yep.
It's minuscule, but the money backing Twitter speaks volumes.
So whoever has the loudest voice is who we're going to support.
Is who
So
we're
they
gonna
don't care if Jordan Peterson's a blue check mark on Twitter. They're going to cancel him if they have to, especially if he's affecting their audience, because essentially that audience is no longer
Right.
going to
It's a small audience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you have 1 million or 2 million people on Twitter, you know what I'm saying, and 90% of them have this way of thinking, anything that goes against that goes against what the platform believes in.
Yes.
And those people who work for that company also have this sense of, not entitlement, but like a sense of like, I have the power to control what opinion is important, what's not important.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And that all goes to analytics, that all goes to private funding. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Twitter has...
Who's paying us more?
Yeah, who's paying us more to speak the truth?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
To go off that topic, since
Uh-huh.
we're talking a little bit about investors and money when it comes to Twitter and these big companies, another thing when I was doing research on BlackRock that I stumbled upon was ESG rating and ESG scores. Have you guys heard about that before?
ESG, no, sir.
Oh.
So
Enlighten.
ESG rating or ESG scores, essentially what it is basically since BlackRock, like you can look it up right now, BlackRock owns pretty much, at least in America,
Every and all.
every and all companies.
Let's just say that. I am the most powerful.
They own all the companies.
Every and all.
So essentially, they have created a ESG score for it's basically a credit score. Think of like China. It's like a credit system.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
For companies.
Like
Okay,
a
okay.
social credit system, but like
Mostly
So-
for the conglomerates, yeah.
But now this is where it gets kind of murky and kind of gray. This is where that people have different opinions on it.
Okay.
So what basically they have one thing where Larry Fink came out in 2018 or 2019, and he basically said that the world is changing to a more so it was something about like progressive, like the world was changing more progressive. You either get along with the ship or you're not going to get money.
you're
from
not
us.
going to
Yeah,
get
my
right.
bad, yeah.
That's fact.
So since BlackRock owns pretty much all of these companies, since a lot of like Twitter, YouTube literally rely on investors because they don't really make money.
That's facts.
Since if BlackRock doesn't pay them if they can't get, so the ESG score is basically, if you have a good ESG score, you will get investors.
Right.
If you have a bad ESG score, investors will stay away from you because they're afraid that you're going to lose money for them.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is they've made it very political because they have a political stance and they
Right.
Always.
say that your company. That's why if you see a lot of woke culture, what's the word? Like woke culture ads that have kind of been sparked around we've seen them more progressively ever since I would say 2018.
Yeah.
I would say that is the reason for that because these companies are trying to get a high ESG score.
That's facts.
Or like another example was Netflix. They've actually started going against the ESG score.
Word.
And there's been a lot of controversy with that.
As you can see, Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So what do you guys? So after spilling all of that, what's your guys's? What do you think about that?
I can understand why, or it's like there's a counterculture developing against this whole, what was it? Go woke, go broke.
Go woke, go broke. Well,
Yeah,
essentially, like I
broke.
was saying, you cannot cater to everybody. Not everybody's gonna like what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
You gotta understand that. And an example I will always use is, I cannot change who I am as a person. He cannot change who he is as a person. You cannot change who you are as a person to cater to that person because that person's gonna like you, but that other person's gonna be like, well, I don't like what you said, but this person doesn't, and you're just gonna forget who you are as an individual because you're sitting there trying to cater to everybody that doesn't like anything that you say, period. So that's kind of where I come from with that. So of course there's gonna be a counterculture where it's like, all right, this is getting ridiculous. You created 5 check boxes. Now we're at 15. Now we're at 100. Now we're at 9,000. It's
That's
like,
a good point.
where does it end?
Where does it end?
You see what I'm saying? So that's why, like you said, Netflix is fighting back.
But that's the thing too, because it's like to really fight against something like that, you have to have
The backing.
the backing of wealth, of prominent figures who are like, okay, this is really affecting society, where it's like, we're grouping people and then we're looking to validate this idea and like, exclude things that compete with this idea. And this is where the money is. Like, and it's like, what you'll notice, the main theme of all of this is follow the money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
The main theme
always
of all
used
this
to
is
tell me that.
follow the money, and that's why that's why I'm so big into like decentralizing, the markets, and not just in crypto, but just like the general idea of decentralizing, like breaking these companies up, where.
Do you think decentralization is truly possible?
Oh.
Like
It depends on the
decentralization?
it depends on the sense in how you weigh like monetary value.
Okay.
Like what is this worth? You see what I'm saying? Like are you looking at social worth, monetary worth? Like are you trying to sway crowds? Is it political? Are you what is your goal? Like what type of society are you trying to live in
Or build.
or build?
Yeah.
It's all goes into like ethics and social studies and civics, where it's like what type of society do you want to build, and then what are the side effects of choosing this way?
That's right.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like you hear this a lot where we're living in we're transitioning to a post-capitalist society where capitalism has essentially run its course. All the major corporations are consolidated and they control 90% of,
There's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Everything.
Oh yeah, definitely.
you know what I'm saying? And of course they have lobbyists who can write laws, vote for them, They have them in their back pocket.
Yeah.
Oil
Money.
companies.
Like you
money.
said.
I got a question about lobbyists, because I don't really fully understand lobbyists. Can you guys explain to me? Because first of all, have they always been a thing?
Always.
Always. Yeah.
They've always
Always.
been a thing.
You do this for me, I will donate to you. I will fund your campaign.
Yeah.
I will.
That's essentially blatant
That-
terms like
Yeah.
That's
lobbyists
literally what it is. Yep.
Just like you scratch my back, I'll
I'll
scratch,
scratch
your back.
yours.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Play
sir.
play my agenda and then I'll
Yeah.
play yours.
And what you end
You
up
can't really
finding.
avoid that, right?
No.
There's not really.
No,
No.
absolutely not.
Because like you said, it's all about money.
it's all about
So
money.
if you want to fund your campaign, if you want to get to this next step, their money is what's going to help you.
Because when
there.
you run a campaign, this has to be
funded,
funded.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's in your own, out of your own pocket, or whether it's fundraising. Which is why when you hear a lot of these politicians who are using campaign funds to buy yachts and like they get prosecuted because you can't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But sometimes you can loophole it. Like,
How do they loophole?
hey, I gifted you a yacht, or hey, I donated.
With the money that.
Yep.
And they can still legally
and
do
they
that.
can still legally do that.
Rich Dad Poor Dad is a perfect book for you to read.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, they have a lot of loopholes for the rich.
Lot
A
of
lot of
loopholes for
loopholes.
the
And he's one of them. He's a rich person, but he's giving you the secrets into that book because I've read that in the Cash Flow Quadrant.
Because the more money
Can
you
you
make,
remind me that before?
Oh, yeah.
I leave?
oh yeah, dude,
Yeah,
absolutely,
definitely.
absolutely.
I gotta
Because
read that.
essentially, the more money that you're making, you're offering a lot more opportunity to quote unquote the ruling class. You know what I'm
Exactly,
saying?
yeah.
It's like, oh man, he's bringing money into the top 1% or the top 5%. They're moving different than we are.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? There are some things they have access to that
We will never have
we
access
will
to.
never have
Yeah,
access
exactly.
to.
Like
You know.
Aladdin.
Like Aladdin.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Unless you're making billions of dollars every
we
single
get
year.
we get Robin Hood and TD
and
Ameritrade.
Coinbase.
You know what I'm saying?
But they're probably
And
in
Robin
their
Hood
back
can
pockets.
freeze your funds.
Yep.
What do you think about that?
Oh,
fact
it's
that-
so trash.
because,
I
like,
called it, bro.
Yeah.
how are people still using Robinhood?
I stopped.
called
I
it.
took all
It's
my
so-
assets
yeah,
out.
moved all my assets out.
Took all
sold
my
them all.
assets out, sold all my assets, and then bought crypto with that. So it's like,
Yeah, dude, it's man.
Dude, they pulled a Canada move. They
Yeah.
pulled a because just like with Trudeau with truckers when
Yeah.
the GoFundMe
Yeah.
they not only did they freeze it, they took the money.
They did.
They took the
They
money.
Damn.
confiscated the funds.
damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
They said they gave it to quote unquote
Charity?
something charity.
That's what
But
they
it's
always
like-
say.
It's
2%.
Justin Trudeau's charity.
2%.
What the heck? It's Justin Trudeau's
What do
charity.
you guys think about that though? Like the fact that a government could literally freeze your bank account.
That's crazy.
Isn't
I
that
think
crazy?
it's shit.
Well,
it really
That, and I know that's why you're saying that we're trying to go to decentralized
like
systems.
and here's the thing that's hard about that, because you can say that I can slap
Of course,
decentralized
yeah.
on anything, but when you really look at it, it's
It needs to be controlled.
right. You see what I'm saying? Okay, let's say
So what are the bad things about decentralizing?
it's
Would you say?
in this day and age, it's not true decentralization, but it's on the cusp of it. But the issue is it's still ruled by today's
A system.
monetary system.
Yeah.
We're taking the idea of modern day capitalism and bringing it into something that's supposed to be decentralized, where it's like, okay, if in the real world I have the most money, translate that to crypto, I will still have the most money,
Yep.
and I can control the market.
Which is why, like you said, most of the people that are tanking the market right now are the big shots, because essentially
whales.
the whales.
whales.
They're literally putting all their money in it, and then when it goes up, us little people,
yeah,
We're like,
because
yeah,
in your
yeah,
mind you're like,
let's
go. Oh my God, I'm making money. Then they take out their millions and it tanks, and then they buy it at the low cost, and then it goes right back up again,
Right.
doubling
It's
their
just
and
funds.
they have
cycle.
their little agents infiltrate. Oh, hodl, just keep hodling. I promise you, we're going to the moon. It's like, no.
That's how come when I was driving, when my brother was, I was driving my brother over here today, and he literally said, Jeff, because I have Saitama Inu, and it's at like 0.00000, so it's like, don't look at it as when it hits a penny and you get a million. No, look at it as if it hits a quarter. If you get 50,000
Right,
or
set
less,
percentage milestones
yeah, like 20
on
grand,
with
15
exit
grand. Yeah,
plans.
take an exit plan like that, and then after that, when it tanks, because of course the big money shots are the ones that are tanking it.
Yeah.
Buy it at the low cost, and then double your money that way, instead of just waiting for it to never hit a penny.
Right. Like if I put 300,
He was being realistic.
For real,
and I'm like,
yeah.
yeah, you're right. I'll take that
if
advice.
I put 300K and it goes up 50%, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the one making money. If he throws in $100, You know what I'm saying? And
Slip
I
the tongue.
throw in
Yeah.
300K, you're gonna see the freaking the green bar just
Shoo.
yeah
Yep.
just shoot up,
To the moon.
and that's gonna what was it, FOMO?
Yep.
People are gonna FOMO in because they're like, man, I don't want to miss in on this.
Yep.
So while you're FOMOing in, you're filling up my pockets.
Yep. Because you're making the big
Right.
shots of
And they
money.
pull it right out.
And they
Right,
just
right. And you never
yank
know
it.
when it'll happen.
Right.
'Cause
I
they-
don't have to wait for it to hit a penny. I don't have to wait for it to hit a
you
penny.
just have to wait for all the suckers to
That's the point. That's the
And,
point.
you know?
That's what happened with Doge, where Elon kept talking about it,
Mhm.
especially when he was on Saturday Night Live. It went up. After that, what did he do? He poured all his money in the tank. He got people excited because it was about to hit $1, and it didn't.
Yeah, man.
So
So it's just things like that where it's like,
Dang.
I like the idea of decentralization, you know, like the technology
but
and
it
blockchain.
needs to be stable.
But there is no standard. Like there are no regulations for it. You see what I'm saying? So it's not
Like
like
the Wild West.
exactly.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
not like something I could be like,
You might find gold, but
you
might not.
exactly.
You're gonna sacrifice where you live, take your entire family, move them
all the way out there, rummage the mountains and the ravines and the
for
lakes
2-3 years,
for
and
2-3
you find
years, hoping that you find
a
some
nugget.
gold.
That's really what they did
And,
back
yeah,
then.
you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You see what I'm saying? And then
How
you
do they explain that to their wife and their family? Like,
That's
hey,
tough.
We're gonna be rich,
We're
honey.
gonna be rich.
We're gonna be rich. Just take
That's
the kids.
tough.
We'll
That's
sacrifice.
tough, man. Like,
getting
how do you
killed.
sell someone an idea, a dream? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you see the reality of it, and then or you can compare like what's happening with crypto with the .com bubble, where it's like
Yep.
overinflated assets that really aren't utilizing anything with
What's
no
the
utility.
example you use? Shoe.com or something like
Or
that?
yeah, like shoe.com, where
Yeah.
it's like I made a website specifically just for shoes, but we don't have the infrastructure to deliver your shoes.
Nope.
We don't have any way to advertise you our shoes. We have no way to, increase our branding and variety. But hey, during the .com boom, we have a website on the internet, and it's this new technology. It's this magical place. So we may end up being, like the next big thing. And what they didn't realize is, it's like the idea that doesn't work in capitalism. You can't decentralize a shopping mall into separate websites and then have it function correctly. And that's where Bezos comes in, and he's like, psych, I'm gonna put everything one on one website.
And there you go. He's
And
got
there
it.
you go.
Yep.
But which is why he's like hailed as like the guy that survived, who predicted the .com bust and capitalized off of it.
We're going back to the World Economic, how we will
Own nothing
and be happy. Do you feel like we're slowly getting there?
You
Dude,
can
I really, dude. Okay, so, like, personally, I'm really into conspiracies.
Oh,
I'm.
yes.
We had an episode on that.
I would. Oh, dude.
Yeah, it would have been awesome.
You
if
would
he
have
was
been
there.
awesome if
Oh
you
yeah,
was
yeah,
there with
yeah.
that.
We had an entire podcast on that. It was called Smoke and Mirrors.
Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
gotta see that. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have ever since the beginning of like right before COVID, I would say the going through COVID. I feel like not just me, but I feel like a lot of people kind of opened their eyes.
It's like
to
a mental shift.
It was a
Oh, yeah,
mental.
yeah.
It was
Mhm.
like an awakening
Oh, yeah.
of
Yeah.
a lot of
Everything got
things.
pushed forward 5 years.
Because, dude, I remember when I was 19 years old, I had absolutely no. I still don't understand how the world works, but I understand more than I did when I was 19.
Oh, for sure.
When
yeah.
I was 19, I was just complete. Like, as you learn more, you learn just how much you didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, the more you learn.
Is that called
With wisdom.
with
Age
age comes
comes
wisdom,
wisdom.
but it's also is it Dunning-Kruger effect or something? Like you don't know what you don't know.
No.
Maybe,
It
but I know
could-
what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's like
It's a weird thing.
it's a weird thing.
But I remember, so the first thing was like the misinformation with like the news. Just the fact of like when COVID first came out, it was just very strange to me how the entire world just kind of shut down.
Yep.
Mhm.
I never seen something like that.
That
when
was
I've looked
weird,
through
yeah.
history, I've never seen something like
I'm
that.
still trying to
Never been
understand the
upon
toilet paper.
Yeah, dude, not just that, but like there was a lot of so I'm very skeptical when I see things being censored or when I see things being taken down or when I
Yes.
hear people throw out the word misinformation.
Yeah.
I'm very skeptical when I hear that now because through this COVID process, I've just heard that constantly again and again and again and
Yeah.
again. And I heard that stuff when it comes to like Justin Trudeau when he was going against the truckers. He was calling them Nazis. All this like crazy stuff. And it's just like you see these things and you see blatant lies that are just clearly, obviously, like, just come on now.
Like these are people are working. They need to feed their
Exactly,
families.
yeah.
Like,
these are people just struggling, and they're here because they got nothing. Like this, you pushed them to that point.
exactly.
But so in hearing all of that, then I started to really get into researching like our governments, and I got really big into a lot of different like secret societies, like Skull and Bones. Have you guys ever heard anything
I have
about
not.
that?
No.
Have you guys heard of the Bohemian Grove?
I have not.
Maybe, like I said.
Enlighten us, yeah.
Enlighten.
Gentlemen.
Oh
All right, let's get
man,
into
Sir,
some-
you are expanding our knowledge.
Yeah, let's go.
You're expanding our knowledge. We're here to learn.
So, okay. So Bohemian Grove is, I believe it's in California. So, do you guys know who Alex Jones is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Turning
so,
the frogs gay.
Yeah. No, Alex Jones,
No.
he's out there. He's definitely out there.
Right.
And I'm not saying that everything he says is true.
Yeah.
But he did actually record Bohemian Grove, which was essentially he snuck in. It's like a campground, and it basically a bunch of different government leaders and presidents will all meet, and there's this giant wooden owl, and they burn an effigy, which is supposed to symbolize a human being, and they have robes, and they speak in a different language. But there's
Holy
the weird
shit.
thing is that presidents go there. Like Reagan was seen there. There's photo. Yeah.
Oh, there it goes
There
right
it
there.
is. See the owl? That's the owl.
Ooh.
Holy
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
What the hell is that?
That's trip. Yo, that's trip.
Like I said, there's a lot about this world we do not know,
is
or
that?
they'll try to
That's
make you seem like you're crazy
the most
for researching
secretive
it. Yeah.
club in America. Oh, that's nuts. What is that? Spiders come not here? No.
What does that say?
What does that say?
Spiders come not here.
Yeah.
Well,
Weaving spiders.
Weaving spiders come not here.
Not here. Okay. Wow.
Jeez, this is.
I think that's
nuts.
Reagan down there. Go down a little bit. Who is? Oh.
Oh,
there's
yep.
Nixon,
This guy?
Reagan. Yeah, click on that
Oh
one.
yeah, you're right.
See?
Oh.
But he was never there, or
Yo,
the
that's
picture was
trip.
photoshopped. You know how that
Yo,
works.
that's trip. So is this
But-
like in the middle of the woods or some shit?
Yeah, dude, they're in California.
Oh, man.
Burning a thing
Yeah,
to like an
this
owl
is
god.
trip. This is trip. I gotta let. Whoa.
But basically, my point with this is like in
Mhm.
seeing this, like, what's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why are these people meeting here? Why do we not know about this? Why did it take somebody who had to sneak into this place
to find out what it
record
was.
this
Yeah.
for us to see this?
You know what I
You
think?
know?
You know what I think?
It's a
Which
little
is
weird to me.
like with this whole, misinformation thing. It kind of goes back to what I told my brother. I was like, we're reaching a point in time where it's like, why would you commit a crime knowing we have all this technology?
Yep.
Where we know everything you're
Where
doing.
we know
Exactly.
everything. I can find out what's happening in Myanmar in a little village.
Shit, you Google something.
You see
they'll
what I'm
automatically
saying?
Be like, well, why is he Googling
That was unheard
scary.
of even 20 years ago.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Because the transfer of information is just so
Rapid and fast.
rapid and fast. You know what I'm saying? And usually the first information you get is on the ground.
True.
So it's like, how do you get the population to digest this information in a way that it doesn't unsettle them? You see what I'm saying?
That's a really good point because I think like if we talk about what's a really good movie where Matrix. Matrix was a good one.
Oh, I
Uh,
love that movie.
crap, what's the Neo?
Neo? That's his name.
Neo. When he first gets like pulled from the plug, and he, I'm sorry, I can't remember the actors' names. This is so bad. Who's the guy with the glasses? He was the
Lawrence
in charge.
Fishburne. Oh, you could call
Morpheus?
Morpheus.
Morpheus.
Yeah.
Morpheus. So Morpheus was like explaining to him like this is the Matrix and all that. Like this is you're a battery essentially.
Mhm. Essentially,
exactly.
yeah.
And he was like, I don't want to believe it. Like, but that's a really interesting point. There is like that's a real part of human nature. Like you can't just there's certain things that you can't just like you have to be very careful with how you divulge things
Yes.
to people sometimes because if you
Yes.
just tell people like Chicken Little the sky's falling,
The sky's
Yeah.
falling.
they're gonna be like
You're crazy.
You have
Or
to make
like-
it palatable, make
or-
it
Well, like
digestible.
well, another example too is how they people who got abducted by aliens or UFOs or UAVs.
yeah, that's another good
Right,
point.
yeah.
UAVs,
the
yeah,
UAVs.
they kept saying that, oh, you're crazy, this doesn't exist, and then now they're
Meanwhile, they're running a 50-year project in the background.
now they're slowly revealing that these people
I
are
didn't hear
these,
about this.
Oh yeah,
Oh my
Project
God,
Blue
this
Book.
gentleman.
Yeah,
Oh, you hear
Project
about
Blue
that?
Book.
Yeah,
For
like-
50 years, started in the 1950s with the first sites of like UFOs at the time.
yeah, that's
And it was like a government project the Pentagon was running. And it ran for about 50 years, and they documented a whole lot of shit.
So for 50 years they were documenting UFO
Yes.
cases.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Documenting UFO
and they
cases.
started
This came
revealing.
out?
Yeah,
So, like we can
yeah.
see it.
Mhm.
yeah, and then they also have actual video footage of the what do they call it?
UAPs?
UAPs. They call them UAPs
UAPs,
because they don't want
yeah.
to call them UFOs.
I believe, what was it? Congress held a hearing, the
Yes.
first official public hearing.
What was this, a month ago?
About a month
What?
ago. Yeah. No, not even 2 months ago.
2
This
months
was
ago.
in
We
May.
watched the entire hearing. Yep.
Yeah.
UAPs, the congressional hearing.
There,
for
that's the
UAPs.
photo of the. They were trying to follow it, and they
This
could.
one right there.
Yep, they were trying to follow it and couldn't keep up with it because it was going so fast, and then it disappeared, and it was at the base,
Yeah,
waiting for them.
Yeah, and
This was also in Smoke and Mirrors too.
oh, check out Smoking.
Yeah, yeah, you'll love it.
You'll love that.
I'm gonna watch that on my drive home.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You'll love it. Yeah, see, so like Congress is finally paying attention to UFOs.
Yep.
So
They're
since-
acknowledging that
yeah,
they
Okay,
exist.
why do you guys think that all of a sudden? Well, actually, you know what? Before I even ask that question, because we were talking, because you were talking about information being shared everywhere,
Mhm.
and I think that's a really good point because the other point that I made, where I was talking about, I feel like there's an awakening that's happened. Ever since
Right.
Of course,
COVID.
yeah, essentially, yeah.
I think that has to do with what Jeff just said, because data we can share it like completely different than we've ever
Different
been
than
able
yeah,
to do
exactly,
before.
yeah.
Yes,
And
sir.
we've only been able to do it the past couple of years.
Of course, yeah. Like I said, everything has essentially been pushed 5 years ahead of its time now.
So it just makes it almost impossible to hide things now.
Absolutely.
Almost impossible.
Because everyone's
It's
recorded.
like back in the day, it's like you got your way of life was what you heard on the radio, and that was all like one major company. What you saw on TV, the news that you got on TV, that was
That was
primed, edited, cut, framed. They got the story right, and this is how the population is going to
Now
digest
everything is
it.
live.
You know what I'm saying? Now everything is live. You'll see something like that looks crazy, and it's like, okay, well, this is what I saw, but now the news is telling me this is what I should believe. Or let's say some shit happens, right? Like, let's say a mass shooting happens,
Mhm.
you know, and it's like, this is what we saw live on the ground. This doesn't fit the narrative that they're pushing.
You're trying to push.
You're trying
Especially
to
if when you got it on multiple different angles and multiple different
Right.
fronts. So it's like who's lying and who's telling the truth.
right
Like you said, on the ground.
on the
Not
ground.
what they want you to think,
We have
which is why
on-
you said people are waking up.
People are waking up,
And that's why when you use Matrix as the example, that's a perfect example. People
Mhm.
are waking up. People are saying, I want the red pill now. I'm tired of taking this blue pill and being a mindless drone
yeah.
to
A
what
bot.
the system or the
An
society wants me to
NPC.
do. Yeah.
Not even just that. Another really great movie that really demonstrates that point is V for Vendetta.
Yes.
Yes. That was ahead of its time.
That was
That was
way
ahead of its
ahead
time.
of its
I-
time.
Dude, I watch that movie. I watch that movie every year on the 4th of July, and because the one message that I really just kind of speaks to me in a different level in that movie was he was. I think this was like the first hour in the movie. He was on a speech where he took over the one control room and he was talking in front of all of England.
Mhm.
Basically, the message he was saying was he was like, look, like, essentially, like, you as a people, you have bought in to lies. And
Yep.
essentially, those lies are you guys thinking that you are not capable of protecting and providing for yourselves, that you need the,
The
government.
government.
Yeah.
you
Without
need-
the system, yeah.
you need the system in order to live. Without it, you're all going to die. And he was it took him blowing up the Capitol for them to
Yes.
realize that the power was always theirs.
There.
And he just
Yeah.
had to give them a demonstration that they could believe
Mhm.
that it's actually
He-
they can take it back.
They
Exactly.
can take it back.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Now, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I like.
Do
I like
you
what
think that that is? What do you think about that message?
That's absolutely
Put the
true.
power back into the hands of the people instead of the government.
It's like the people don't know they have that power.
They do. It's
They,
just
they
How do you let people know that though?
right
know?
without making them go crazy.
Yeah.
Without making them go crazy, how do you let them know that they have the power to really, like, if
To overcome.
to overcome? It's like, if you're noticing Disney's making shit movies now, stop supporting
stop
Disney.
supporting Disney.
Yeah.
And
all it
it's
takes.
just that's all it takes. But
Well, I think the biggest issue is because a lot of people, you can
is it? Can I just get this?
yeah. Go ahead.
Do you
go
think
ahead.
it's the inconvenience of thinking and doing for yourself?
You know what? I would say yes. And I say that because I watched a podcast of this one lady. She escaped from North Korea.
Okay.
And she was talking to Joe Rogan. And she basically comes from... So, in her mind, before she came to America, freedom was not even in, like, the vocabulary. It
Wow.
wasn't even a thing. Like, love, that's not in their vocabulary. It's not a
Oh
thing.
wow.
You don't have relationships. Like, your love is for the emperor.
The
like,
emperor,
for
right.
him.
Yeah.
Right? So, but, like, their lives, even though they barely feed these people, like, they have to literally eat grasshoppers, like, in the summertime or something like that, just to get
Crazy.
by.
That's crazy.
But even the little amount that the government provides for them, it's all provided for them. Like, they do everything for them.
Mhm.
So she goes from everything in a horrible way being provided for her, but still being provided for her.
Provided
for
She
her. Yeah.
goes from that to, I have to make decisions for myself now.
Yeah.
Because she's not used to it.
And she said that was the most terrifying thing she ever experienced.
Wow.
Because it's like, imagine, like, everything is, like, catered for you. Like, you know where to go.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, you don't know where to go.
Right.
And you don't know what
Yeah.
to do.
Because you're so used to people making decisions for you.
Like,
The
that's got to
government,
be a
yeah.
mind.
Yeah, that's
I feel like that's why a lot of people, as you, like, we're talking about, like, why people, or the inconvenience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, why people stay in it, because it's just a truly terrifying thing to really, like, true freedom is a really hard.
It's very.
Because you have to
hard
also take responsibility.
Yes.
Like, if you screw up, it's not, you can't blame other
You can't
people.
blame anybody.
You gotta blame
you know.
yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like the government, or not even just the government, but a lot of these systems, especially in America, are teaching us to be victims, to be
Yeah.
afraid of this threat that we can't see, but only the government can
Government can't
verify
see,
this
yeah.
threat.
That's a really good point.
So
A really good
if
point.
you put your safety, your future, your life in our hands,
hands.
we can protect you and provide you with the best quality of life.
Well, in simplistic terms, it's like your parents are the government and you're the people. They take care of you your entire lives, and then when you're 18 years old, they're like, you should go out in the world. But then you keep asking them questions like, can I do this with you, or can I do that with you, because you're so used to them always doing things for you, that when they say no, you can go shopping by yourself, you can find a house by yourself, you can do this by yourself, it's kind of difficult for that child to separate themselves from that parent. It takes a while.
Mhm.
And that's a simplistic term answer that I can use for that, but it's the same way, like you said, with people. It's going to be difficult for them to take that red pill, wake up, let me be
Accountability is a hard pill to
exactly
swallow.
let me be independent by myself, because like you said, even if somebody finds out the truth, they're going to be like, well, he's the first person to do it, or she's the first person to think this way, so this is good. So some people refuse to accept the reality of certain things. So it's like you were saying, can we help everybody? And the thing, or like awaken them to what the reality is. And it's like, no, we can't. You see what I'm saying? You can help some, but not all. That's how
True.
I look at it.
And I believe like the thing that really accelerated that was, of course, the pandemic.
Yep.
Everyone was home.
Yep.
What do you like? You can't do anything, so you're gonna be beside yourself. And either A, you fell victim to the I'm gonna call it propaganda that you saw on the news, where it's like in feeding you fear. Be scared. Be
Yep.
scared. Be scared of the people who aren't listening to us
Till they got tired of it.
till they got tired of it.
Yeah, it took 2
You know
years,
what I'm
but they got tired of it. They're like, I'm gonna shut this off. I'm gonna go out to the beach. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Because you keep telling me to stay in my house and do what? Nothing.
Right. And people are still getting COVID.
Notice the power of fear, though. The
Oh,
power
it's
of
very
fear
strong.
It's amazing.
literally
It's very
shuts
strong.
the
It's amazing,
whole
bro.
world
Yep.
down.
It's
Fear.
amazing, bro.
It's
And that's
insane.
that's what I always tell people.
Another thing that's kind of interesting that I've also noticed is there was one saying I heard, and it was this is back into like conspiracy a little bit.
No,
but,
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
there's like a saying that I heard when it comes to governments, like essentially what they do is they create a problem, right? They wait for the population's reaction.
Mm-hmm.
They already have the solution already ready before they started the problem.
Oh yeah,
So then when the people react and they need a savior, government comes in, swoops in.
we're ready.
And not only does, like, every time their solution is put in place, it takes away your rights or your independence bit by
Yes.
bit. And they do it slowly by slowly.
They
Yep.
chip away at your.
And as long as you focus
liberties.
on that specific problem, they're gonna go behind the scenes and do what they need to do without you even realizing what they're doing until it's too late.
Or another thing, too, is, like, I've noticed they always do this. They'll come out with a bill, right? Bill will be like 700 pages. Right.
Facts.
You know what
They're
I
not
mean?
gonna read it.
700
Let's put this
pages.
bullshit in there. They're not gonna
And
read
they
it.
talk about one topic.
Wow.
They're like, it'll always be a hot topic, right? Like, let's say
Yeah.
something like abortion,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whatever side you're on,
Mhm.
I'm just saying abortion just because it's a hot topic.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now. Right.
And so they'll come out with like an abortion thing, and they'll be like, look, if you don't pass all these 700 different laws that we're trying to pass, which is really like if you don't pass this one law,
This one law. We're gonna sneak this law into all this.
Yeah.
You know.
So it could be like you don't really have a problem with that law. You have a problem with like the 30,000 other
Oh,
laws they
laws.
have on there, but they're
Right.
like, no, you're racist, or no, you're this and that
Yeah.
because you don't like that one.
You
thing.
don't like the. Yeah. This is why you're not. passing
Yeah, and
this
it's
bill.
like that
You know,
law
it's
has
not-
nothing to do. Like you use abortion as an example. It's like abortion has nothing to do with putting extra green grass on a 30-foot golf field or something
Yeah,
like that.
like
Just to
something
throw a
like
that.
random
Be some random
example.
bullshit
Yeah,
in there.
it's just
That's facts.
stupid shit that has nothing to do
And
with why you
they'll
wrote that
sometimes
law.
they'll like secure funding. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll sneak that in,
Write
yeah.
this money in. You know what I'm saying? But hey, this is for
The
Yeah.
grand scheme of
Right,
things.
you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
exactly.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And it's all just, you have to read between the lines. It's all word salad. It's all word jargon. Because they know what they're doing.
Yep.
True.
They know what they're doing. And the thing is, it's like, well, think about where we're headed now. It's like with the advent of artificial general intelligence.
Ooh, what do you think about that?
AI.
What do you guys think about that?
Man, it's iffy, you know? Because it's like,
Are you scared of it, or
I'm
not gonna lie, I'm scared of it.
it's kind of scary.
It's a yes and no
It's
because
a yes and no, because
I keep hearing the fail safes, but then you watch we just watch
we
Transcendence.
predict our own future. Here's why humans survive.
with Johnny Depp. We just
we're
watched
so good
Transcendence.
at surviving. We predict our own future.
Yes.
We always predict the problem and then solve the solution before the problem gets there.
Yeah, like every movie that's come out that's a world ender, we've already. I guarantee the governments pay attention to it, and then of course, like you said, we solve it before it happens.
My thing with artificial general intelligence, it'll make us more incapacitated, more dependent on this thing that has
perfect
all
example.
the answers.
Perfect
for us.
example he used was Wall-E from Disney's Pixar's.
Right.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Right.
The ship, the thing that controls.
Yeah,
okay.
like the artificial intelligence.
Or like
thing.
one show I could recommend to you, Raised by Wolves.
Raised by Wolves.
Raised
Yeah.
by Wolves on HBO Max.
by Ridley
Ooh.
Scott.
By Ridley
the
Scott.
guy that did.
Because you know
Aliens.
Ridley Scott loves
Yes.
to like
Some bangers.
do the
Yeah.
oh my goodness, he loves to do the
Aliens.
mind fuck with like robots and extraterrestrial life and what is humanity's place in between those.
Those, yeah.
Because it's like, what will we achieve first, AI or extraterrestrial life, or first contact?
Yeah.
And how does that affect humanity? And it was like, I asked my brother, it's like, okay, you're headed to work, right, Jeff? Everyone's wakes up Wednesday morning. We're on our regular schedule. We're headed to work. The skies open up in a fucking alien ship. comes through.
You still going to
You
work?
still going to work?
Nah, bro.
No, yeah, get the fuck out.
What matters?
Exactly.
What matters?
Nothing matters
at that
anymore.
point. You see what I'm saying? And I feel like that's what we need to get to the root of. What really matters? Like if some world-changing event were to happen, like who are you in that moment?
Yeah.
Who are you looking towards? Are you looking towards the government? Government ain't finna save your ass.
No.
Yeah.
The government ain't saving your ass.
The main that wanted
Yeah.
you to follow
The
them. to
elites aren't
yeah.
gonna save your ass.
No, they're gonna be in their bunkers.
They're gonna be in their bunkers. They're gonna be
You know.
shooting themselves off to Mars or
Well,
whatever.
that's how I
Yeah.
love Death
know
Robots
what I'm
was
saying?
That's why I
perfect.
feel like they want to go to Mars so bad. because
Yeah.
They
They
know
wanna-
something we don't know, and they're like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on.
That's why you have all these billionaires doing these private space
Why do they
companies
care so much?
so they can, have their other billionaire friends go to space with. It's just this separation. It's just a further separation of class. And then you have this idea where we have space commerce. You see what I'm saying? Which is why we developed the Space Force to essentially provide security for the smooth functioning of space commerce.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? That's where most science is going to
Or
take
they call them
place.
Space Rangers.
Right,
which is
Space
funny.
Rangers. Yeah, that's what they're called.
That's
Space
literally,
Rangers.
they're
Yeah,
literally
United-
called Space
Dude, it sounds fake as shit.
It does,
doesn't
it does. But when
it just sounds
but
crazy,
when
right?
when you're watching, what's the name of that thing that they show on YouTube where they get like certain people to do certain challenges or have conversations? They got a whole bunch of different people from like the Army, the Marines, because they're seeing how much weight they can each of them lift, and
Okay,
and he's
okay.
like, yeah, they're like, oh, what do you do? He's like, I'm a Space Ranger for the United States Army. I'm like, that's a thing.
Yeah,
That's a
United
thing.
States Space Force. Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
The straight face.
And he said it with a straight face too. I'm like,
Because you're
they know
looking,
something we don't, so it's like,
Yeah,
yeah.
because you're looking towards the future.
Dude, you know what? Since we're talking about that, by the way, if I ever cut you off, I'm
No,
sorry.
you're fine,
I just
bro.
get excited.
No, you-
No,
Yeah,
absolutely, bro.
exactly.
I'm the same way. You're absolutely
Like
fine,
you said,
brother.
this is a conversation, man. This is a conversation.
So before I came here, I was looking into CERN a little bit.
Okay.
So
CERN in Switzerland?
CERN in Switzerland. Have
Okay.
you guys heard anything about CERN?
Large Hadron Collider, where they
The God particle.
the
and
God
stuff?
particle,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Higgs
We
boson.
watched the
Oh,
we watched the
Higgs
video
field.
on that.
Oh man, dude, it's
Dude, what? is
Oh,
go-
my-
What are they doing? What's going on?
it's oh my
Because
goodness.
okay, like the God particle. I mean, just like the sound of that.
Well, didn't you say
know
they
what I
changed the
mean?
name to make people feel better?
Right, because they didn't want to offend the
The religious.
religious people. So the Higgs boson is
How
what
does
they
that
call it.
offend the religious people?
Because
Because
it's called
I am
they're quantifying it as God's particle.
Ah, okay, I see
Right.
what you're saying.
Right. It
And-
it goes against the whole creationism
yeah.
aspect
Okay.
of it. Where it's like if you could simplify the existence of all matter in the universe to
God
this
particle.
one and it's not necessarily a particle, it's a field. So the idea is the Higgs field permeates throughout the entire
Oh, you got him started.
universe.
You're gonna get it. He's ready.
The Higgs field permeates throughout the entire universe, and that's where subatomic particles interact with each other. And where those subatomic particles
Interlace.
overlap. Where those particles overlap, that's where you have matter. That's where you have matter. So,
So what's antimatter?
so
Or dark matter?
So antimatter, that's a real thing. So you have antiparticles. So like you have the muon, the tau. Those are all both antiparticles to the electron. You have the up quark, the down quark, which are antiparticles to.
What episode did we do that on? Chopping it up or something like that?
Was it chopping it up?
So basically, we because you know how there's multiple the multiverse.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
Same. We're on the same. We're in the multiverse with vibrating at different frequencies. So the example that I gave was, actually Neil deGrasse Tyson gave. He basically said the only reason why we would turn to gelatinous goop if we were to go to a different universe was because our particles,
Our rudimentary particles would not be compatible with that universe. Which is why I gave you the example of
Unless we
the
solve gravity.
antiparticles of the electron are the muon and the tau.
Mm-hmm.
So the muon is first generation antiparticle, the tau is the second generation
Mm-hmm.
antiparticle. And they only appear for a fraction of a second
Yes.
once you split atoms or subatomic
But
particles.
in this universe,
But in this universe, they
Yeah.
will correct themselves to become the electron.
the electrons.
So we know these particles exist, but they are unstable in this universe.
Yes.
Wait, so do you guys, since we brought up the multiverse, do you guys believe in the multiverse?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Fuck
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Can
Absolutely.
ask
I
you guys
literally
why
told
you
him.
believe?
I literally told him. Well, because, I mean, it's a lot of things. It's like you, let's say you have a dream and you're living that dream and you feel like it. How do I explain this?
It's like a fourth, because there's so many concepts
there is.
in like astrophysics and space time. It's like there is no grand unified theory that connects everything as like this is what reality is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like I could bring up an example where it's like inside of a black hole, it's more of a 4-dimensional space because it's like a puncture in 3-dimensional space time. You know, but we can't wrap our heads around
Because it's 4-dimensional.
right.
And we're 3-dimensional beings.
Right.
Yeah.
Even like gravity, you know, gravity permeates throughout the entire universe, whether it's strong or weak. It's just wherever matter is most dense, gravity has a stronger effect.
But like you
Could
said,
you, oh, I'm sorry.
no, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
Could you technically control gravity then?
Boom. That's what I was gonna get to. So we're on the scientists
Right.
are on the process of trying to
Are
control
trying
gravity.
right.
Once we can, because space is forever expanding, which is why to get to certain different galaxies, it's impossible because you're going this
Oh,
way.
I just heard you guys talk about this.
Yeah. So you're going forward, and the galaxy is still spreading out. So, but if you can bend space by controlling
right.
gravity,
If you can control gravity, you can bend
Star Trek.
space,
So
time.
they basically predicted everything. Star
Right,
Trek.
That would be. Could you just imagine, like?
I know,
'cause
dude.
I learned that from a guy named Bob Lazar. If you guys have ever,
I've
heard
heard
of Bob Lazar? So he explained gravity to me, and he said same thing you said. How basically, really the way gravity works, to simplify it, is the more mass, that's where it goes.
That's where it
So
goes.
you could technically control it.
Mhm.
And it's
Exactly.
like, and now that you're saying shaping, like, did you say shape the
Bending
universe? Like,
space
Bending
time.
space time into a U.
how do you do that?
Well, like
Because when you bend space time, you're bending space time in the 4th dimension. There's
How do you do that? If you can't even process.
what was that? You said they were creating the quantum computer that we can put in the. What was the equation? What's the name of that equation?
I know exactly what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
So if we can figure out the last part of that equation, which he's gonna look up, then we will be able to bend space time. And then I said the goal is to get to a different universe without turning into a gelatinous gloop. Because you watch Jet Li in The One, and he's going through all these different universes where he's different peoples or different iterations, where he's a female, male, gay person, a straight person, and then essentially The One is he's going through every universe, killing his counterpart, and then their energies go into him, and of course he becomes stronger and stronger and stronger. So, but essentially, that's what the goal is, and he even said they can bank on.
I think it was Schrodinger.
They can bank on it too. Schrodinger's theory
Schrodinger's
Schrodinger's
wave
equation. So they've solved all but the last part of the equation.
Yeah.
If they can solve that, then we can control gravity.
See, wave function, energy, because
What?
every particle oscillates at a specific wave function, at a
Mhm.
specific frequency. And depending on how that frequency interacts with the real world, those are the laws of physics that we
I'm sorry,
perceive.
Jeff. Can you say that for me one more time?
In English, please.
So, matter vibrates on different frequencies,
Which is why the multiverse exists.
which is why I believe there is a multiverse.
There is.
Because some antiparticles aren't compatible with this universe.
So it proves that there's a different.
So
we have to kind of look
what
past.
if it's? Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff.
No, go ahead.
What if it's? Because I've thought about this. Because I don't personally believe in the multi-theory. Because I've always thought, well, what if it's just different dimensions? Because I do believe different dimensions exist, but
Right, like
What if,
dimensional.
what if it's just different? It's not a different universe that looks just like ours, but there are different dimensions that are totally different than our entire galaxy world.
Well, here's what
Or,
I
like,
would.
What would you say about that?
Here's the question I would ask. Right.
Okay.
So, do you believe in or have any semblance of belief in like Big Bang Theory? All right.
In a way, yeah.
Do you
because-
believe our universe is expanding?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do believe our universe. is
So
expanding.
at the beginning of so outside of that expansion, what exists?
Oh, well, personally, I think everything came from God, and I
Mhm.
think in a way, yes, the Big Bang Theory does exist because at one point there was nothing, and then all of a sudden there was stuff.
Yeah, but there's something.
So-
we always say there's something that has to be there to
And
create
and,
it.
and this is what I asked. What was it, Shemeka or?
It was Shemeka.
But what if that
What's
thing
your
was
sound?
always just there, though? Now that's something we can't.
Right, that's
comprehend,
something we can't
but-
outside
because that
our
is true.
scope.
Everything does come from something.
Yeah,
Right.
like
So at some point, something
has to.
has to have been there
Right.
where
To create
everything
it.
could come from, and that thing had to just be there.
Which is where you
Exactly.
get that Klein bottle.
So, like I
The
always say,
Klein-
in simplistic terms, we're sitting in this chair. Who made the chair? That person. We're sitting on.
Because like all matter, because the idea is matter energy cannot be created and
Or
destroyed. It's
destroyed.
just transferred or
Yeah.
renewed in a new form.
Yeah, and
So
again, too, we
our
are
particles came from somewhere billions of years. Like everything that has been and will ever be created
Is us.
is already here.
made. Yes.
We just have yet to tap into that matter or that configuration to create that.
Steel, metal, wood, diamonds. That's all been.
Whatever. Like
all
even this
existed.
computer, all the matter in this computer came from space. You see what I'm saying?
It's just we brought it together.
Like it just concentrated itself on this planet, and we figured out what chemistry and all that and whatnot.
A little side note with because you said energy cannot be created or destroyed. I thought about this the other day, but because I've had talks with people about death before, and
Mhm.
I find it really fascinating what people think, like what happens,
Mhm.
like when you die. A lot of people think that when you die nothing happens, but I think from whether you come from a religious standpoint or a secular standpoint, I think that can't really be true because of the one law we have: energy cannot be created,
Created,
or
destroyed, just transforms.
We're bundles of energy,
Yep.
and like
We're the universe.
if you've ever seen a dead body, there's no life in there.
There's
There's,
no-
no energy.
There's-
You can tell.
Of course.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
there's potential energy. That potential energy is the energy that will be provided to the organisms that are breaking it down, and then those organisms transfer that energy into nutrients for the
Well,
soil.
true. But you know what I mean.
Right?
That
Yeah.
life,
Completely.
They're not
right.
gonna be a
yeah.
human
They're
again.
not. They're not conscious, and that also goes to like conscious theory, or it's like,
Where do you think we go?
well, here's the thing. Until we can define consciousness, whatever happens to us after, because our conscious is just, energy, neurons firing and coming together collectively to process physics.
Yeah.
Do you think that's all consciousness is though?
I believe it's more than that. I believe consciousness is more than that.
A lot of people will say consciousness is a soul or a soul is a conscious, and
I've always kind of looked at it more.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
Right, but it's like, how do you
quantify?
How do you quantify it?
True.
That's what I always ask people. How do you? Because when
What if it's something you can't though, or at least we as humans? Because like to give-
Three-dimensional beings, probably not.
what if like consciousness is a fourth or fifth dimensional concept, right? So no matter what we do as a three-dimensional being, at
Mhm.
least in this state, we're never going to
We will
truly
never
understand
truly
it because it's a
understand
different
consciousness.
dimension concept.
that's fact.
We can give
But-
you theories of it.
Right. We can give like and where I would say where I would go with that, where it's like all the information we need is in the universe. All math
I
that
do
ever
believe that.
exists
Yeah.
I do
is
believe
in
that.
the
Yeah,
universe.
it's just trying to.
It's just trying to uncover that math. Like there is an explanation for everything. We're just not at a point where we can process or even understand that information. Where it's like
Quantum computing.
we're ahead like with quantum computing. It doesn't you the way quantum computing works, it's not just okay, input A and you get output. It's not input output. It's a concept of a system that has already been repeated and verified, plus the concept of another system that has already been repeated and verified. And
Okay.
we get a new understanding.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And that's where the idea of grand unified theory comes from. That's something we, with our flesh brains, cannot
that.
cannot like
Comprehend.
we can't comprehend it
As three-dimensional.
True.
as we are now. So
Yeah.
the only thing that can really understand that is like a system that like a quantum computer that can understand two states of being, like Schrodinger's equation. Like you put a cat in the box, you don't know if it's dead or alive until you observe it.
Yep.
True.
Observable truths only exist when you observe them.
Just like if a tree falls down, do you hear the
Do you
sound?
hear the sound? Because
Well,
your
what
ears,
about paradoxes?
like
Because like a paradox is something that you can observe, but even though you can observe, you can't understand it.
you can't understand it, right?
You can observe it all you want, but there are paradoxes out there that you can't.
And that's where dimensional theory comes in,
Oh, okay.
where it's
okay.
like one good movie, Interstellar. I don't know if you've
Beautiful.
ever seen.
I saw that with Daniel.
Yeah.
Oh,
We watched it in
Interstellar. Okay, so when
But-
he goes into the black hole, and he's essentially in this
Crazy.
infinite labyrinth, like in the fourth dimension, where time exists as
That was so
one
weird. So weird.
thing. You see what I'm saying? Like to a fourth dimensional being, time they exist outside of time. Time
Yeah.
is not a
They
concept.
can look at it like a map.
like a
Exactly.
map.
Like choose where
Right.
you want to go
see
compared
what
to
I'm
if you
saying?
were just
You know what it's honestly, so I the most beautiful way I can explain or like the way I think, so I'm gonna try to talk about fourth dimension, but it's hard to talk
It's
about.
really
So
hard.
let me
right.
give me a moment. But so one of the things that I've always done since I was 16 is I've loved video editing.
Okay.
It's my passion. And so I've been working on a documentary the past couple weeks.
Oh, that's awesome.
But what's really interesting about it is, like, as a human being, as I'm sitting there, I'm literally creating a story.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what the beginning, what the end, what all that is before it even comes to
Comes to
fruition.
fruition.
Yeah.
And I'm the one that puts it together. So like I look at that as the same thing as like so I believe in God. So I look at that as like how God, or if you want to call a fourth dimensional being, would look at us as like
Like,
Like
I already
me-
know the beginning and the end.
And the ending of the
that's
result,
you know
cool.
what I
yeah.
mean?
Or
And
the-
it's
Yeah.
they
That's
can
very understandable.
so I guess to understand like what no time would be
Mhm.
like, it's to my understanding that's how I understand
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is a really good example.
That is a good
And that's why I
example.
always bring up the question. It's like, if something appears on Earth that you don't understand and it exhibits, what was
We use Superman as the example.
Superman.
well, like exactly. Notice
Yeah.
how they in what was it?
Not
Man of Steel.
No, Batman v Superman.
Was it Batman v Superman?
Batman v Superman.
He was exalted as a god.
Yep. They would bow to him.
They bowed to
True.
him
Yeah,
because it was something they couldn't understand, and it went beyond the
Human comprehension.
Human comprehension.
Yeah.
So, and it goes back to just like even the beginning of humanity, things we didn't understand, we worship them.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, let's say God created this universe as a fourth dimensional being. Is he one of many, or is he one of one?
One to one.
You know, in that, like, if this is something they can casually just do, yeah, I'll just conjure up this.
Well, a perfect example. A perfect example is the Eternals. How the what do they call those? Not the ones that created them. What do they call them?
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to Google this. But
The Celestials?
The Celestials.
Celestials.
There you go. Thank you.
There we
Thank
go.
you. I
Thank
was
you,
having a brain
brother.
fart. So,
Oh man.
so it's like how the Celestials would create a universe,
Mhm.
and in that universe they would send the Eternals to keep the creatures or humans alive, whichever beings they were, just so they can birth a new Eternal. So there's multiple gods because those Eternals would create an entire Milky Way galaxy or whatever type of galaxy just to create another Eternal, and it took what, like 10,000 years
Mhm.
or 2 million years or something
Right.
like that to create an Eternal. So I mean, what if we looked at it like that?
Yeah, it's like
And that was also Neil deGrasse Tyson's theory. What if we are every human being that's ever existed on Earth, and then by the end of our life cycle, we transcend this into godhood because we have lived as every
the
single-
unified conscious theory.
Yes.
Like when we kill someone, we're hurting
Ourselves.
Like when we hurt someone, we hurt ourselves.
And then at
It's
the
like
end of the life
we're
cycle,
all a unified conscious.
Yeah.
Which is why you can have like deja vu of events that
you've never
never experienced.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I've always thought that deja vu comes from dreams.
That's what I said
like
too. A dream
deja
that you
vu-
don't remember.
A dream you don't remember.
That's
That's why subconsciously you could be like, well, I mean, I guess consciously you're like, I remember this, but I don't remember this.
But you don't remember. But how does the dream predict the reality that has yet to come?
That's a weird thing.
You see what I'm saying?
I think because I believe dreams are messages, and I believe
for
dreams
sure.
have a lot of symbolism. I
For sure.
believe dreams are how, not just God, but entities, spiritual entities communicate to people. Because dreams are very. If you've ever looked into, like '90s animation, it's very like that. Dreams.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're very
Ethereal kind of.
ethereal, like
Yeah.
fake, but it's
Mhm.
real. But
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
or it's like an acid trip,
Yeah,
psychedelics.
that's facts.
That's what, I honestly, since I'm bringing up psychedelics, do you guys believe psychedelics are a way that we can elevate our conscience, or can we can we be enlightened through psychedelics?
Yes.
I believe so.
Yes.
Yes, because it gives our minds a different way of perceiving objective reality,
Yes.
and
And it shows you things that you can't see
Right.
on an everyday
on an everyday basis.
basis. Like it opens your mind to what your mind. It's like you said, perfect example. Waking up and then the reality that we perceive every day. Like you thought this house was a house, but what if you were sitting inside a giant monster's mouth? And it just kind of opens that gateway to say, "Oh shit, I've been inside a monster's mouth the whole time, but this looks like a regular house."
Oh, dude.
I got you thinking now, right? So,
because it's like it's all about because it and I can't stress this enough. It's like reality is just your brain processing physics. You know what I'm saying? But the physics that we observe now, like now, sober. You know what I'm saying? Like there could be a different way of processing physics. Prime example, if you didn't know, a lot of the great artists throughout history, including the Renaissance, they had this. They want to call it a defect or mutation, where they had an extra. What is it called? Cone in their retina, that like a fourth cone, because we have three cones. What is it? Red, green, blue, where we process light and see different things.
So they could see more colors.
They can see more colors. You see what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's not saying okay, these colors don't exist. That's just the reality of what they're seeing, which is why you have infrared. Snakes can see in infrared. You know, that's a different way of processing reality. You can see heat signatures because everything is just on a different wavelength in how your brain processes that. Like colorblind people, you see what I'm saying?
see color, like we were giving an example. of.
Yeah, or hearing color.
There you go.
Hearing color for the blind. You know, when you ask a blind person what do they see, it's not black. They don't see black. It's more of like, I don't know. It's like I can't explain it because I'm not really blind, but it's like when you close your eyes and you see sprites. If you close your eyes long enough, or if you stare in the dark long enough,
You'll start seeing different.
you'll start seeing
Different
shapes,
Images and
and shit like that. Because that's your brain working overtime to process
what it's saying.
what it's intaking. Like,
So would you say that's like the acid trip or the?
right?
or
It's
the-
just another form of the acid trip. You know.
One of the, I remember, I think the first time I ever took acid, I think I was like 17, and I'll never forget this. Acid made me totally look at the world completely like different,
Mm-hmm.
because like I used to be under the belief that like to believe something I have to see it. I have to be able to observe it, I have to see it, I have to test it.
Yeah.
acid kind of threw that out the window. for me.
Absolutely.
Of course.
Completely threw that out the window.
Absolutely.
Because acid made me realize that like there's things that are real that I can't explain,
Mhm.
but I know what I experienced. I know what I saw. Like
Mhm.
one time it was so I'm sitting in a shed, and I was with a couple of my friends. It was my older brother and 3 of my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, the shed was the only thing that existed in reality. It was like it was floating in space,
Wow.
Nice.
right? And I really believed that. I didn't want to open the shed because I thought it was gonna fall out.
Oh, yeah. This is my safe haven. I don't want to fall over the edge.
I really believed
Then you're
that.
really gonna be tripping. Yeah, you're really
I
gonna be
feel it. I feel
Yeah.
it, bro. I feel it.
So, but what made it even stranger, so for some reason, like, I was trying to figure out, like, the meaning to, like, life and everything. Like, I
Mhm.
was on a journey in my
Mhm.
mind,
Oh, for sure.
right? And for some reason, every time I would get, like, right there, like, in my mind, I thought, like, I'm about to
You
figure
had
it
the
out.
answer. Yeah, I got the
Yeah.
answer. I figured it out.
And then
dog.
God's like, gotcha. Not
Psych.
today.
Psych.
I get right there, and what was so weird was, so the people, so like every time I would figure it out,
Uh-huh.
the more I would figure it out, I would stand up, and like as I stood up, it would be like I'm learning more, like I'm getting closer,
Wow. Okay.
and they would have conversations, but the weirdest thing was, it was like I was watching a show on repeat. They would have the same conversations,
Mhm.
and it would like repeat, like, but their conversations, like, to them they could totally understand each other, but to me it was like I was like listening to minions talk.
I feel it.
I
I
couldn't
feel it.
process it.
I
Because
feel it. Yeah.
it was literally like, so I'll be talking to you, this is what it was like. Yeah, so you remember, and then we were doing this, and then we were
God.
like, they would
Yes.
talk, and then they just like
Mhm.
stop, and then they talk again, and it was the weird, and it was freaking me out, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, what's going on? And so I get to the point where I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I figured it out, and they would all look at me, and they were terrified. They were like, what are you doing? So then in my head, I was getting freaked out because I was like, why is everybody looking at me like that? And so this loop, it was like a cycle. It happened like,
Mhm.
had to have happened like 10 times or something
Wow.
like that. And
Yeah, because them trips be lasting,
They
boy.
last.
Like 9 hours, bro. Especially when you peeking.
what was the craziest thing was I didn't understand what the trip meant at all until I think like after a year later. So at that time in my life, that actually was not a good time in my
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
I was actually really struggling with drugs, which is why I was taking acid.
Yeah, I understand.
But so I was going through a really rough patch where I was about to fail high school.
Mhm.
I just got fired from my job because of
Mhm.
drugs. My family was like at the point where they was about to like, hey, you need to get your shit together,
Yeah.
or like,
Give you that talk.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it was at that point. And I remember my friend Peyton. I was like, dude, like in my life, like the shed was the only thing that existed. And he goes, because that's your life.
Wow.
And I was like, dude,
That's what's up.
Yo.
fixed me up right then and there. But like that, because like, but having that experience, like I would have never been able to.
Open
But-
your mind,
'cause, like,
right.
Acid like literally showed me it. So like when he said it to me, it was like I can't deny that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
Damn,
I
that's
went through a
crazy.
whole experience where like it forced me to realize that,
Mhm.
and all I needed was somebody to be like, "This is what it means," and I was like,
Wow.
But it
Changed
was
it
just-
completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
but it changed me completely.
It
That's
does.
what's up.
It does.
So
That's crazy.
And I this is the same thing with me.
Yeah,
It's
and that's
just
why I
like-
said with him, I'm like, I'd never seen you so artistic and creative before, or the way you speak or interpret your reality is so different from everybody else. And I'm like,
Because, like, you see a different... Like, the first time I dropped, it was just, like... It was half shitty, half, like, amazing.
mhm.
And I remember I was just, like... I was... whatchamacallit? I was sitting on the toilet. I was in the restroom. And, like... I could just see the walls breathe. I could see the shower carpet, like little villi.
which is why I
you know?
said that could
little
be the
phalanges.
reality that we're in. It's just that gives you the like the gateway or the access. It's like,
yeah.
it's like the
Yeah.
film Sausage Party. They weren't
they
they weren't able to see them talk until they were shooting the little acid trips.
acid trips. Yeah.
What if? Because I remember, so like, I was talking to my friends about this because we did acid a lot, and like, I was really confused on reality. And to go off your point, I remember asking my friend, I was like, dude, what if like what acid is like, what if this shit is like actually real? This is like really what reality
Yeah.
looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And like we're like a veil is just uncovering for a couple hours.
Yeah.
You get to see because like
Unfiltered,
you
unadulterated.
experience and you operate completely different than a normal person would.
Yeah.
You like it's
Absolutely.
I can't even really explain
Absolutely.
it.
You can't. You have to experience
And even
it.
after the experience, you can't look at life the same way.
Not
No.
at all.
You just can't.
No.
Not at all. Because you're outside of yourself and you realize it's bigger than this. There's
Yeah.
a higher purpose, a higher
There's a point to
a
being here.
point to being
Yeah,
here.
we're not just here
a
to be
point
here.
to
Yeah.
exist.
Dude,
you know what
that
I'm
was
saying?
the biggest because I had an ego death, and I think that was the biggest thing that acid really smacked me over the head with was the fact that David, you are 1 out of 7 billion people who, like, with what you believe
Mhm.
God created all of them equally. You believe that all of them have intrinsic valuable
Value.
Yeah,
rights,
yeah.
just
Yes,
like you.
sir.
And you believe that these people have the capabilities to do amazing, wonderful things. And it's
Yes.
like they're on the same
They're on the
same wavelength, same
wavelength
level as
Yeah.
you. You're
Yes,
not better
sir.
than them. You're not
You're
lower
not
than
lower
them.
than them.
And we're all
Human.
here.
We're here.
We're just human. We're all here.
We're here. We're
And
existing.
just-
Yeah.
None of us chose to be here, but
Yeah.
we're all here. You know?
We're all here.
We're all
That's
like,
facts.
like I told him too. I said we're all here for a purpose. We all have a gift that we can choose to use to help the world, or choose to keep it for ourselves and be selfish. But at the end of the day, it's always a choice. It's up to
Yeah.
you whether what you want to
Yeah.
do with it or not. But yeah, like I said, we're all here for a reason. You have a talent. You just got to figure out what it is.
Yeah, I remember I saw so I like to listen to Jordan Peterson a lot.
Mhm.
I love his lectures. I feel like I genuinely think he's a genuine guy.
Yeah.
I really
Mhm.
think he has when he goes out to speak to these people, I really don't think it's a sham or he's trying to
Be malicious.
malicious. I really think it comes out of a genuine fatherly love for these people.
Understandable.
But one of the things he goes over all the time was there was a message and he was saying that like he's like, look, like life is suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At the
Yes,
end
it
of the
is.
day, everybody's gonna get to the point where you're gonna have to shit sucks. Shit is
Yeah.
not fair,
Yeah.
and it's not gonna be fair.
Never.
You know, it's
No,
never gonna be
sir.
completely fair. There's never gonna be complete equity.
Nope.
There's gonna be things that are gonna be awful that happen to you and the people that you love, and a lot of the times you can't do anything.
You can't
about
do
it.
anything
Yeah,
about
of
it.
course.
But even despite the tragedies and everything that you face, he goes, like, what really builds character is, even though all of those things are coming at you, like, what do you choose to do despite that?
It's always a choice.
That was
You
a
know,
choice.
because just like it
I will
literally
always say
is.
that.
It's
It's
always
always
a
I
a
will
choice.
always say that. It always goes
Always
back
a
down to
choice.
that. Always.
Because for me, it brings me back to like whenever I think of God, whenever he tested one of the people in the scriptures, whether it was Abraham or Moses or any of them,
Mm-hmm.
like he would always put them in a very like in a situation that was tough,
Yeah.
like a situation where you could easily, like, I'll give you an example. Joseph, he was a guy who was one of 12 sons to Jacob, who was the heir, who was the son of Isaac, and Jacob basically had a favorite son named Joseph, and all the brothers hated him because he was the
Mhm.
favorite of the father.
Yeah.
And so they basically, his own brothers take him, they kidnap him, and they sell him to slavery,
Mhm.
right? That's a big kick in the face, right?
That
So,
is,
Oh yeah.
but even despite that, even despite your own family betraying you, what does he do in this situation? Does he become bitter and resentful and say, well, the system's against me, I
Yeah.
can't
No.
do anything? Like, no, he still continues to hold his integrity and his
Yes.
character. And because he has that attitude, like later on in the story, he gets to be second in charge of this one guy's house. Can't remember the name. But even after that, his wife tries to sleep with Joseph.
Yes.
And Joseph ran away. But because she caught onto his coat, she told her husband that he tried to rape her.
Yeah.
Now he's a servant, so she's the wife.
She's a wife.
He's gonna believe her. So now he gets thrown in jail. But even despite that, like still, like he has so many opportunities to take the easy way out or just be resentful.
Mhm.
But he still continues to hold his integrity.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best message you can honestly tell anybody.
That's
Yeah,
facts.
yeah.
Like,
That's
regardless, especially since we live in America, regardless of the sex you are, the religion you are, the color you are, I really believe it's a mindset thing.
It is.
I
It
really
is.
believe your prosperity to extents, because I understand at some point at some point you can't do things.
Right.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
there's at some point the things are going to get in the way, and you did your best.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, I really do believe even if you don't achieve what you set out to do,
Mhm.
if you have that mindset and you live out your life with that mindset,
With that mindset.
whatever
Absolutely.
comes upon your life is going to be worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because there's always going to, like we always say too, there's always going to be obstacles that's going to get in your way. But at the end of the day, it's a choice on whether you want to get out that situation or whether you want to elevate yourself up or whether you want to do better for not just you, your community, your loved ones, the people. But at the end of the day, you have to make that decision for yourself. There's always going to be obstacles. When we were trying to start this or anything that we've done in our lives, there's always been things that has been pushed on us or have been difficult for us to essentially just move forward. But at the end of the day, we didn't give up. We didn't say, oh, let me wallow in my self-pity and say it's too hard or I'm not
Right.
going to do this anymore. We just kept pushing until we got what we got.
Yeah.
And I still feel like there's a lot of room to grow. There's a lot of people to learn from. And like I always say, with age comes wisdom.
Age comes wisdom. That's facts.
So
And I
That's
mean, like, with the
facts.
mindset you guys have, I mean, like, look what you're able to do.
Oh, dude.
You know, like, this is insane.
yeah.
Appreciate
You know?
you. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
Thank
you.
you, thank you.
I appreciate you for coming on. Like I
Dude,
said,
seriously.
we just want to get the genuine raw story of everybody and
Yeah.
and spread the message of
The human experience.
the human experience. Yeah,
The human
exactly. And if people walk out of here learning something new or expanding their minds or thinking a different way, as to you have to take control of your life. Other people can't tell you what to do, or you shouldn't care about what society wants you to think or wants you to do.
Yeah, throw out the systems that you feel you have to conform
Exactly.
to, and you
Burn
know,
off the dead wood.
exactly.
And
There you go.
and that's essentially our goal. And it doesn't matter how big we get, we're gonna continue to spread that message. So, but it starts with you guys,
Yeah.
and that's why we're still doing this.
That's
so,
facts. That's facts.
Mhm.
Thank
Yeah, I
you,
love
man.
what you guys are doing.
I appreciate
honestly.
it.
yeah, now we're definitely gonna have you back on, man. You
Oh,
guys-
I'm
dude!
coming
back.
Yo, I love
Yeah,
this man,
yeah,
dude. I
yeah.
love you even more today, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Whether you bring somebody
Wow.
or you come by yourself, yeah, man, bring somebody.
Dude,
I-
I had a fantastic time.
Oh,
today,
dude.
guys. I had a really great
It's
time.
really always a pleasure, man.
This was awesome.
Do you have any messages that you would like, the world to know, anybody listening? Something that a message that's close to you, something that you live by,
I think, yeah, I would like a message that my late dad shared with me. And one thing he always told me, I remember it was in one of my birthday cards that he left me. And biggest thing he taught me was forgiveness. And in the card, it was all about forgiveness. And one thing he said was, expect the best in people because they tend to live up to it.
Yes.
And that, with the combination of true forgiveness, I think that out of anything is really what we need in today's world.
Yes.
Because, like, at the end of the day, like, dude, we screw up every day,
Of course, we're human.
you know? And not just screw up sometimes. Sometimes we screw up.
We've fucked.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But
Like, it gets
sometimes,
bad.
like, you wake up and you can't look at yourself in the mirror. You're like, this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, goddamn.
Absolutely. You look in the mirror, you're like, damn, bro. Like,
What did you do?
Yeah.
Bro? What
Yeah.
did you do? No,
And
that's facts.
I think if we, obviously we can't be the best at this, but if we try to have that understanding that, like, because, like, we do these awful things, but we have to learn to forgive ourselves, like, we need to share that with other people.
Mhm.
Because, like, a lot, and also at the same time, like, don't just put the hammer on yourself, too. Like, you have to learn how to forgive other people just like you have to learn how to forgive yourself.
Yourself, yeah.
Because if you can't forgive yourself, then you don't have any self-respect for yourself, and you're not
Yeah.
going to get far in life.
Yeah.
And
That's
you can't
true.
forgive other people. That's why.
You become resentful.
Yeah, like we always say, if you can't love yourself, you can't love others
You
too.
can't love others.
Because
So-
it comes from the heart.
Yeah, of
So
course,
wherever
yeah.
your heart, there was a scripture. It's like where the heart, something flows out of, like, the heart. Like
Mhm.
the life flows from the heart. So
Mhm.
whatever you put in here, is going to come
That's
out.
what's
going to
gonna
give
come out.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
But yeah,
That's
that's
true.
basically the message. It's just as best as we can, just learn to, instead of making accusations against people, understand where they're coming from first.
Yeah.
First, yes.
And really try to, when they do mess up and make mistakes, as best as you can,
Don't
try
be a
to look
reactionary.
past it.
Yeah,
And move
cannot
on.
be a reactionary. That's facts.
Good reaction.
That's facts. Well, thank you, David, for
Yeah,
coming.
would you like to shout out your company?
Yeah, absolutely.
'Cause I know
yeah,
you're
please
'cause
plug.
We're,
Plug.
We're
Where can we
share all this?
Yeah,
share all this
where-
with whoever you want. To
I
listen
appreciate
to.
it, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
So the one company I have now that it's already up and running, it's Soaring Skies, LLC.
All right, awesome.
That is our drone services company. So on that, we specialize in essentially marketing and advertising. So we can provide photos, videos, graphic designs,
That's awesome.
different things like that. And then more of a technical side, we can offer models, so like 3D models, whether it's the outside, so like when it comes to construction, if you're building up a certain construction site and you want progression shots of an actual model of the project, we can give you that.
Bro, because you know I always be on Google,
Yep.
like looking for like progress, because like I follow the development of this town super closely. Like I stayed up for like 5 hours reading a 380-page document on the LEED 2025.
That man, he has time.
the LEED,
That man has
the LEED
time.
2025 plan, and it's essentially what the investments and what they're pre-planning for the zoning in this part of Lehigh. And I love watching like
Like the progression
the
of how it actually
I
works.
love that.
Dude,
That's
it's so cool.
That's
It is,
oh
it
dude,
is.
and
So cool.
that's awesome that you're in that, and you get to
Thanks,
like work with drones and everything.
It's awesome.
That's so
Oh, man.
awesome, dude.
Yeah.
So
Is this you right here?
Soaring Skies, yeah.
Right
That
here?
is me. Yep.
Yes,
That's
sir.
me.
Ski. Let's go. And we have a website too.
The Soaring Sky, that one's not
Oh,
me.
I clicked
But
the
we
wrong
do have a website.
Let me go back.
.net, yeah, that's the different company. That should be us.
So what made you want to start this company?
Dude, honestly, I remember this was last year, I think in August, just around that time. So I was working at a restaurant, Grimaldi's, as a server. And, you know, summertime, it really slows down.
It slows down big time.
Of course, yeah.
And it was getting to the point where, like, it was really slowed down. I was walking in, making, like, $30. You know, it was just, like, not even worth,
Wow.
like, it just wasn't worth coming into, like, work. And I was like, dude, like, I've never liked college. I've never liked school.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Like, just the way it's set up and how
Same.
you learn, I
Same.
can't learn.
Yeah.
like that.
Same.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so rigid.
It's not for everybody.
No.
It's
It's
really
not.
It's
Yeah.
for a select group of, it's a select way of thinking
Yes.
to be able to learn that
Work
way.
in systems.
Plus,
Yes.
look how
Right.
much we learned, and we didn't even go to school for it. We're building a fireplace.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yo, this is
So,
fire.
that is
Oh yeah,
fire.
so those are the models. That's what they actually look like.
Wow, that's nice.
Wow, this is legit,
That's fire.
dude. And you know what? I love this idea because this
man.
skill translates to so many avenues.
A lot of different
So
things.
many TV production, movie production, construction. You could do. Oh my goodness, bro.
Yeah.
You could.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And you guys are
Yeah.
still growing.
My man's thinking
That's what's up, that's
ahead,
what's up.
bro. This is
So-
amazing. This is literally future proof, bro.
Thank you.
This is
thank you,
future
guys.
proof.
It is,
That
it is,
This
really
yeah.
means a lot.
Awesome, dude.
So right now we're at the part where I've created all the social medias for the company.
Okay,
Nice.
awesome.
I actually coded this website myself.
Wow.
I taught myself how to
Wow.
code, and I
You're
know it's not
fine.
the best, but
Oh
Nah.
no, this. Mwah, I love
I don't know.
it.
I feel like it's
You,
alright.
you could
I can make it better.
It-
but
I connect with it a lot more personally because like you really kind of capture what we're looking for. It's not hidden under a whole bunch of like sublinks, hyperlinks, subtext,
it's
and all
like
that.
straight to the point.
It's straight to the
Exactly.
point.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
like that?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It gets straight to the point. We can immediately see your skill, you know, what you do.
That was the
and
biggest thing. I don't want to waste people's time.
yes.
Yeah.
And
That's
right
fire.
now, we're at the point where I've developed a pitch, and I just hired a guy on. His name is Jaden. He's basically my sales guy, so he's going to take the pitch that I have, and he's going to
Nice.
go to different companies and
Okay.
try to introduce ourselves, and build connections.
Okay.
So,
Where do you see yourself going with this? How far do you?
So
What's the goal?
What do? Okay, let's ask him. Do you have a 5-year or 10-year
5-year.
plan? Okay.
5 year? Okay.
5 year. I want to create an umbrella corporation with multiple different corporations
Okay.
that are run under it.
So,
So
bro, I love this guy, man.
He's definitely yeah. You're definitely coming back. That's what's up, man. That's what's
I love
up.
it, man. I love it, dude.
dude, honestly, and the other thing too is like I can learn so much from you guys,
Yeah.
and like I want
Vice versa, brother.
Same
as
here.
much
Same here.
because like seeing all of this like and like especially I want to know more about like on our own time when we get off the podcast.
Yeah,
I want to
for
know
sure.
more about what you guys do and your own personal
Mhm.
jobs.
Yeah.
Because again, like especially when I first met you, like dude, you
I felt it.
different. bro.
Yeah, I felt it.
Different.
You
Yeah.
just know.
Yeah, you
just
can
know.
tell. You
the
can tell.
drive.
Yeah.
It's that drive.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
and you guys just know so many different things that like I would really.
I
Love
don't
to
feel like I
come
know a
back.
lot.
Nah, you know. Come on,
Give
Jeff. Look
yourself
at where
some
we're
credit,
at,
man.
bro.
Give yourself some credit.
Look at where we're at, brother.
Look at this.
Yeah, man. Look at
Yeah.
where we're at. What you talking about?
But another thing we were doing is so the second company we were making is Illusion Productions.
Okay.
So that's a it's more like a media production company. So
Mm.
essentially, I want to make interviews and documentaries.
Ah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
If you've ever seen Jake Tran,
Oh, Jake Tran.
definitely gotta
Yeah.
watch him whenever you get.
Yeah, I'll
the time.
definitely write
Alright,
that
for
down.
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
Sure.
But it's gonna be basically stylized documentaries of different topics. So
Mhm.
religion, politics,
Nice.
conspiracies.
There you go. There you
So
go.
the first one we were doing is BlackRock, which is why I wanted to talk to you
Ah,
guys about it.
gotcha. Gotcha.
And the second one we're doing is the Vatican. So we're starting with those two.
Be careful.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
dangerous
know.
Be
ground.
careful.
I know.
If you need a place to hide out.
Yeah.
You guys got me?
Oh, we
Yeah, I
got
got
you,
you.
brother.
Yeah, we got you.
Be careful though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But I really liked YouTube because one thing I've noticed is we can't make there's certain documentaries we're not gonna be able to post on YouTube
Right.
because they're just gonna straight up like
Patreon.
Yeah. So Patreon, but also the I saw another thing on YouTube. It's like Patreon where you can get people who can subscribe to you monthly.
Oh, what
And-
Hassan does.
Because
Was-
those people can post whatever video they want because people are
Right.
actually paying for it.
Gotcha.
So you can't
You can't
you
cut
can't
them
do
out.
anything
Yeah.
with it.
Right.
So it could
right.
beat the algorithm. That's a loophole for the algorithm.
That's also something that you guys should. I don't know if it'll help
Yeah,
you guys
that
out, but
the plan is to
Yeah.
you guys
really
can offer different things to your
Mhm.
supporters.
Mhm.
Like you could do like $5. We'll give you this. $10. You get a little more than
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
You know that could help you guys.
Absolutely.
And
out,
that's the
too.
goal too. That's
Yeah.
essentially the goal.
Yeah. Just not be dependent on YouTube and have a more personalized.
Because we put up the videos, but it's not our focus. You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
it's more of a like for visual watchers.
For visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
well,
True.
We gotta get timestamps on though.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
gonna be tough.
Because we take critiques like if we put something on YouTube or we put something on here, we'll improve it. Like I said, we take every constructive criticism as a positive for us to make this production better. So
Yeah.
True.
We I think we talked about the last one. We wanted to take this on the road. Do like lives,
Dude.
vlog interviews. And
That would be
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah.
Take two people,
man.
If
put
you
them in the
guys
car.
ever need some drone shots or anything like that,
Oh,
You know,
Keep
come
going
on.
on.
You
of
know,
course,
you know,
definitely,
you know,
definitely.
man,
Like I said,
what?
Also, I did hear you guys talking about. I think it was you, Jeff. Did you guys were talking about you guys needed an editor? Do you guys need an editor?
For the videos or the sound?
The videos.
The videos. If you know what you think?
yeah.
Yeah, because that
I could
that's
send you a couple of things so you could see.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
I'm
Yeah,
capable
yeah,
of,
perfectly,
and you guys
perfectly.
yeah, because that we are
You need to
looking.
see.
Yeah, we
work.
are looking for a video editor because
We suck at that. we just kind of scrub the beginning and then upload it.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's-
literally just
it's a
it.
work in progress.
It
man.
is a
and
work
it's
in
like
progress.
when you're trying to juggle like real life work and
Yeah.
trying to manage this at the same time. It's hard to find.
True.
Hard to find time because especially with the job that I do, working from home, I work with a DAO, and of course I make art and day trade crypto and stuff like that.
Oh,
So,
Yeah, tell me about that.
oh dude, absolutely.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely talk about that.
But like in between that, it's really hard to find time. And I'm doing commissions. I started doing commissions for, cover arts, poster prints, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah,
Yes,
for
sir.
yeah.
Yes,
Guy
sir.
working on some dubstep music.
Yes.
Yeah, he made a cover art for
So I
that. He'll
made
show
some-
you after
some-
we're
some
done.
cover art for him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the goal. Like for me, because like it's like my little pet project, my little side project.
He loves doing this though.
But I love doing this. Anything that involves tech,
I'm with you, dude.
I'm
Tech
on
is
it.
just-
It's
Oh, yeah.
amazing,
It's there.
bro.
It's there.
It just it's the gift
feel
that
like a
keeps on
kid.
giving. Yes, it's like ever since I was a kid, I was just like, if one of our old whatchamacallit. See, I was gonna say CRT TVs, but CRT has a whole different meaning now. So cathode ray tube TVs, those fat box TVs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
okay.
So every time they'd go out, I'd break them down.
Really?
I would break them
to
down.
see how it like
how
works.
it looked, what the board, what the logic board did, see what the micron array projectors, because it shoots out like
Rays.
like
Light rays.
light rays through, what is it, a mercury gas or a xenon gas, and then it projects those dots on the screen, the colors. And it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Since I was a kid and I was breaking down computers, and it was just so amazing. And of course, this guy got me, like 90s was like the big year for like future tech movies and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I was
that's what
always,
kinda
oh
set
yeah,
you-
that just
solidified it.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I was just always a fan of just like sciences, just STEM in general. Science, technology, education in the right sense,
And
where
mathematics.
it's in mathematics.
Yeah.
Because like I just always felt like there's a unified understanding of why these things do these things, and like I want to know. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
I get
and,
that.
and I just want to know.
Well, now he can break and rebuild a computer. So
That's
Right.
insane.
because he
Right.
just took a class just to teach himself, and then
Just because you wanted to know.
Just
how
because I wanted to know,
Just
because
so
I was
you
like, I can't learn this on. And it's the same thing. It's like I could continue, pursuing higher education, but it's like, well, we have technology. I could get certified online.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
insane what you can do now.
Yeah, I like. What is the point of school at this point when?
I really don't.
yeah, unless you're gonna become a doctor, a firefighter, police officer,
Right.
or
Yeah. So, like-
an
Right.
engineer.
But even
then-
those have like special technical,
well, as
No,
of
I
right
mean,
now,
like, I
education.
feel like a cop. You'd have to go to
yeah.
Oh right, yeah. Okay,
more like
that's facts.
physical thing. But everything else, a lot of things you could just do online.
It's
now.
online now, and a lot of people don't realize this. It's like, bro, your life could be so much easier.
And you save thousands of dollars.
Thousands of dollars. No, you don't have to
my
take on
goodness.
predatory loans.
Stop going to universities.
Yeah.
Stop going to
Stop
universities.
going
It's
Yeah.
like the lifestyle ain't what it used to be.
Get the same
The
education.
same
for
education.
Yep,
so
yep,
so
yep.
much cheaper.
Yep,
Same
exactly.
education, brother.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But let's wrap this up.
Yeah, but essentially, yeah, definitely. Soaring
Yeah.
Skies.
Soaring Skies LLC, y'all.
That's
Y'all
what's
check
up,
it
man.
out. SoaringSkies.com.
And we'll definitely bring David back on, whether
boy
he comes
David,
by
oh,
himself
bro.
or you come with a guest. You
This
can
man's
invite
a
anybody.
visionary
Yeah.
here.
I'll definitely probably bring somebody
Yeah.
next time.
Oh, for sure,
That's cool.
brother. That'd be great.
Expand their mind and their knowledge on all things.
Yeah, man.
But
I
no,
know a
this is
couple
amazing.
perfect people to
This is
bring in.
this is amazing, man. This is amazing.
You think so? Thanks, man.
Yeah, dude.
I really appreciate
I
that.
like this.
Yeah.
I like this. And dude, you're doing it.
Yeah.
You're doing it. You're standing on your own 2 feet and you're pushing your own path.
Yeah.
And I love it. I respect it. It's inspiring. And I love that when I meet other people like that
Oh, yeah,
who are
definitely.
braving the elements and taking those risks because
Yeah.
they understand the vision that they have
Yeah.
ahead of them.
And not
helps
letting
motivate
not
you.
yeah, not letting
Absolutely.
anything push them back or not let them
Absolutely.
push forward or blame their circumstances or their situation on it and just be at a standstill. Like I said, we had a lot of setbacks, but kept moving it
Yeah.
forward, and here we are.
That's facts.
Here we
Couldn't
are,
have
so
said it better.
here we
You want
are.
to sign us off, brother?
All right. You guys can catch us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, Deezer, iHeartRadio, and
iHeartRadio.
Amazon Music.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
right,
And
right.
our episodes come out Tuesdays and Thursdays on those, and then on Wednesdays and Fridays we will release our videos on YouTube.
You want to look at our ugly mugs?
Yep,
You know?
yep. Not David though, just us.
Nah, David came in here. Woo!
He brought the smoke.
Came in like Rico, boy. What?
Yep. But thank you guys for joining us at the
Thank you
tabletop.
for joining us at the table.
You guys have a good day.
And you folks take care.